everybody, and welcome to The Very Worst, a podcast that is only about all of the Pokemon movie against all of our better judgment. I'm Matt Ockamp.
I'm Pat Reber.
And I'm special guest Andrew Nealis.
How's it going, Andrew?
It's going pretty good. It's pretty good, you know?
Did you expect me to keep up the same level of energy? And then when I didn't, it was really disorienting.
A little bit, yeah. There was I think there was a weird pause, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't know. Is this a trap?"
It's like, "Oh, we're building to something," and then Matt just takes a big deep breath and brings it back down.
We
We also sometimes we say the title of the movie that we watched right there, but
I don't think I want to yet.
yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Plus, this movie's title is like, okay. It's like, sure. I remember when you sent me the title of it, I was like, is that what these are called now?
Yeah, every one of them.
I was like, I don't know what any of the, I recognize some of these words, but overall, put them together, this could literally be about anything.
What's your, Pokemon background?
My Pokemon background.
Yeah, do you have any experience with these magical pocket creatures?
Give us your credentials.
My credentials of, I've won the, I've been inducted into the Pokemon Hall of Fame at the end of Red. Isn't that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called. I don't remember. I've played Red. Red was the one that I got when I was a kid. I remember playing that, and I think I got it for my birthday, and I was really excited. I remember when I got the actual game, and then I've played through that a bunch throughout the years, and that's Pokemon Red for me is if I were to ever rank favorite and or best video games, I can't rank that one because it's just assumed. You know what I mean?
It's
in its own category.
It's if I picked that up immediately after ending this, I'd lose a lot of time. I would just get sucked back into it because it's just one of those things. There's certain sound, there's all the sounds and the music from Red is just it's just in this deep part of my brain. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was more that was probably my biggest Pokemon thing. I was never really into the show. I remember seeing the first movie in theaters, I think for a friend's birthday party. And I remember not liking the movie that much. I was just like,
what? I wonder why.
Did you guys talk about that one yet?
These masterpieces?
I just remember... Well, back in the day, the Digimon TV show, that was my shit. I thought the Digimon TV show was great.
Andrew, wait, okay, this may be your experience, and that's fine, but on this podcast, we don't...
we don't talk about Digimon.
Yeah, please continue talking about your Pokemon experience.
Okay. All right, so I remember the first movie. I had the CD, the soundtrack to Pokemon, the first movie, and it's a fucking great CD. I also
left that much of an impression on you, huh?
It did.
I bet you never had the Digimon soundtrack.
Oh, you think I didn't?
Okay, never mind. Let's change the subject. I thought I was going to get slammed back here. Back up.
Yeah, the Digimon soundtrack, for that movie is fucking that has some weird song. I'm pretty sure that song, the impression that I get, is on there for some reason. It's not bad.
For some reason, I would imagine the Digimon soundtrack would be all Mighty Mighty Boss tones.
It pretty much is.
It's 90s ska
soundtrack.
Never had to knock on wood.
So I remember I also had the CD to Pokemon 2000, and I had the movie novelization of Pokemon 2000.
Wait, how did they in the novelization? How did they interpret all the 35 minutes of birds screaming? Were there just 3 pages of the letter E?
Yeah, is that a chapter?
It was.
It's there's a button you have to press.
I thought it was just a misprint. The 6 pages of just. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up because that is so funny that you guys say that. I had the CD and the book, but I never have seen Pokemon 2000. It's like, is it good? Did you guys like that?
No,
one?
Andrew. No. Protect your memories. Yeah. And make sure you never do any safeguards you have to put in place to make sure you never even accidentally watch that movie.
I might do that tonight. I have to pack for something. Maybe I'll just put that on in the background.
No, Andrew, you're expressly ignoring my advice.
Retain your innocence.
Let me just check Amazon real quick to see if it's on video. Okay, so question, mystery solved there. That's a big chunk of my life. It's a big question I've had. Is Pokemon?
It's mostly birds fighting in the sky while voice actors pretending to be Pokemon scream into microphones behind it.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. But it's got the 3 legendary birds, which they are fucking cool. They're cool.
Not in action. Maybe if you're reading the novelization and picturing it's probably very
like a
cool.
Frost bird and a fire bird and an electric bird. And then when you actually look at it, it's just like, oh, it's a squiggly bird, a pointy bird, and a bird that's blue. You said something earlier in your Pokemon experience. You said, if I found Pokemon Red, and then you paused for a second before you said, again, now as an adult, you'd play it for a long time. I was imagining, okay, when we were kids, we're all roughly the same age, right? Early 30s.
I'm 27. So
okay, you're much younger
27.
than us. But that actually, that helps my point even more. So all of us experienced Pokemon, the video games, after we experienced the phenomenon of Pokemon. So we were all playing Pokemon games with the background of your parents' opinions on Pokemon and your friends' excitement or lack of excitement towards Pokemon and all the commercialization of it or whatever, right?
Yeah. Part of the reason why I never really got into the show or anything, there was so I remember up to 2000, then I got Gold. I played Gold, but I never beat it until 8 years later or something like that, where I was like, I'm just going to play this again because I could never finish it because Gold gets really hard. But there was a point I remember in elementary school where I just was done with Pokemon for a while because it's just there's so much of it. I was like, I'm fucking done with this. I don't know.
We're over it. They sold out.
And there's definitely some earned and some not earned. There's a lot of stigma to Pokemon.
Yes.
But imagine if you were a person living today.
Okay.
And you had a full cultural experience.
Easy.
Minus any exposure to Pokemon whatsoever. Okay. You've never heard about them. You've never heard anyone's opinions about them. You never saw the TV shows or the movies. You never encountered the toys.
If I had watched this movie, I'd be all caught up to speed because there's some handy exposition at the top that answers every potential question I could have.
There's we'll get into it, but there's a straight up tutorial on how to play the video game.
And it might have been I think that was when I was like, oh shit, I got to start taking notes because this is wild. But yeah.
So, imagine you're at so you have no knowledge of Pokemon whatsoever, but you are in a thrift store and you find a Game Boy Color and a Pokemon Red cartridge, and you take it home. You're like, I wonder what this is. You plug it in and start playing Pokemon. That would blow your fucking mind.
Yeah, it's funny that you said it because I think if I had no idea and I just started playing it, I'd probably get into it.
Right.
It's pretty easy to pick up. And I was actually last night I was playing. I haven't played my Switch in a while, and I was playing because I downloaded they have the SNES and the NES games. I was just fucking around on that for a little bit just to kind of be like, yeah, sure, I'll play Metroid. Why not? The original. And I was just like, this is fucking hard. And I barely know how to what I'm doing. And I played a little bit of the Super Metroid or whatever. I was like, oh, this is way better. I feel like Pokemon Red, you can pick up and probably get into. I don't know. I feel like I could figure it out and be engaged by it.
I think it's it's a game. It's not a game of skill. It's a game of like just dedication. You have to be committed to just continuing to play the game to beat it. If I'm this person that you're talking about and I pick up this game, I would be like, this is a very complicated children's game.
I think it'd be like, what you don't think you'd be like, oh, fucking weird, like a weird turtle who shoots water and a grass turtle and a fire dinosaur? I'll play this for a minute.
I have played Pokemon since before my adulthood. I since becoming an adult, whenever you want to define that, I have since struggled with figuring out what a Bulbasaur is supposed to be, and it drives me nuts.
I always assumed
what is that plant on top of? A turtle?
I thought it was a turtle.
But what's with its head? It's a lizard. It's like a lizard head, but almost like a cat. Like what?
Which part of it do you think like controls the nervous system? Like the plant or the little dinosaur body?
Oh my god. Yeah, what if it's like, okay, follow me.
Okay.
The body is a dinosaur. But like an old dead dinosaur.
Holy shit.
And the Pokemon is, like you're saying, Andrew, the Pokemon is the plant.
Holy shit.
And it is grown into the husk of a dead dinosaur.
It's like the cordyceps fungus that infects that infects ants. You know what I'm talking about? And it's that fungus that zombie
controls
ants?
their brains and makes them go and march around for food.
Yeah, but the Bulbasaur doesn't have a brain. The plant is literally like using its roots, manipulating the limbs and the joints and shit.
Well, then that's still again a very complicated children's game. It's like, look at this fantastical creature. Here's a 1 minute backstory.
No, you're right. Because Pat, I'm kind of siding with Pat now. Because the last Pokemon experience that I've had was in college. I had a 3DS and I got X and Y. So I played through X and Y after not playing a single new Pokemon game since Gold, I guess. Or maybe like Pokemon Stadium or something like that. Like I maybe played one of like the weird one-offs here and there. But I played X and Y. There's so fucking many more. There's more types. There's different mega evolutions were introduced in that, which we're going to talk about.
Which we're going to talk a lot about, yes, apparently.
I have a lot of thoughts about the mega evolutions, but especially in this movie. But X and Y was just like, I was just like, all right, I'm going to play through this twice and then I'm out. Because it was great, but I was also just like, I don't fucking know what any of this is. Like, I don't know. There's like another one coming out for Switch, which I'm just like, am I gonna dip my toes back into this fucking thing?
Baby, I am all over it.
Everybody's gonna play that one.
That one looks awesome.
Okay, we gotta get into the movie, but first, because we've been gone for so long, I want to hit some Pokemon news.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah, sorry everyone. If you're a regular listener, we had to take a break, but we are now in a new studio. Recording and I'm gonna go ahead and say that's why we had to take such a lengthy
old
break.
Studio got destroyed by a big steam man sneezing. Number one, Pokemon news.
Number one,
Sword and Shield is out in like a month and a half.
Oh shit,
that's rad. But I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the new world's best Pokemon. They revealed it early and is going to be, you know, if you are a listener to this podcast and you saw the news, you knew immediately, oh, that's Matt's new favorite Pokemon. Do you guys know this Pokemon?
Wait, I remember hearing something about this, but I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I think I know
This is my main man, Poltegeist. He is a ghost which inhabits an old teapot.
I am Googling Poltegeist.
Poltegeist. He is a little purple ghost. He lives in a teapot.
Matt has a fucking doll of it already. In our brand new studio.
I'm literally Googling Pokemon Ghost Teapot because I don't know. He's coming out. He's coming out of a little...
He's popping out a little teapot. He's got a little pot lid on his head.
Do they... do they all inhabit the same teapot?
I think it's just... There's a ghost Pokemon, the ghost of a dead Pokemon. It comes and haunts a teapot. It gets one.
Yeah, so
it brings it around with him.
I guess what I'm asking is it like
Can you drink it? Is that what you're asking?
Is it like a hermit crab where like it can inhabit any shell that's like the appropriate size, but
they prefer a teapot?
That's not where I'm going. Can they inhabit just any teapot? Like when you find them, are they in like maybe this one's in a blue teapot, maybe then this one is in a I don't know, another color.
I don't know. The game hasn't come out yet, but
I'm sure that'll be the main crux of the narrative.
Right, I bet this is going to be a Poltergeist-centric game.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's more like... Maybe it's... I need to know. Maybe it's more like they grow a teapot around themselves.
Grow a teapot, but they're a ghost.
So maybe the first evolution is like a teacup, and then they shed that when they evolve, and they grow a teapot.
That would fit into my long-standing Pokemon theory that I don't know I've really talked about on this podcast. I kind of don't think Pokemon, until Detective Pikachu came out, I kind of didn't think Pokemon had actual animal features. I kind of thought they were just like made of like a gooey filament or something that changed shapes based on what the Pokemon was. Because that would make evolution make a lot more sense.
Yes.
But also, like, clearly that thing on Psyduck's face is not a beak. Like, that's not a real hard beak. That's like a weird, soft,
rubbery,
round thing.
Yeah, it's got some strange properties.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Pat, would make a lot of sense if it's like, okay, the keys Pokemon isn't really a ring of keys.
Yeah.
It's just like a Pokemon who shaped its body into a key ring for some reason. It's like
or one that's just naturally shaped like a key ring and was like, oh, I can keep keys on me.
Poltergeist, it just grows a teapot looking thing around its body.
Yeah. Or it just loves teapots and it steals your teapot, and it's like a story you can tell children. I think that's the better version, is that it just inhabits any teapot. That. Maybe it'll come into your kitchen and inhabit your teapot.
Inhabit your teapot.
Look out.
Well,
I like that.
Either way, I like that Klefki is no longer your favorite Pokemon.
No, Klefki's still way up there. Look, Andrew, my favorite Pokemon are all the inanimate object Pokemon.
Right.
Is what you have to know here.
Where one of them's just like a chandelier or like a candle.
Oh, you're talking about Chandelure.
Yeah,
my good
that
boy.
one.
In fact, the little candle Pokemon, Litwick, is in this movie.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I remember seeing it. There's one in this movie that's just like a cake with a big dumb face. And I was like, what's your deal?
Okay, one more thing before we get into the movie is other big Pokemon news. And for some reason, this made like fucking headlines. And it's apparently in the TV show. I don't watch the TV show, but apparently in the TV show, Ash finally won something. Like, he finally became a Pokemon master.
Oh, yeah. He achieved his dream.
Ash Ketchum, the consummate loser. Like, despite always being the chosen one, despite every Pokemon, like, instantly falling in love with him.
Yeah.
Or eventually being convinced to love him. Despite constantly saving the world, either not owing to his own actions, largely just it happens around him, or sometimes it's like directly in spite of Ash's actions. Like Ash does whatever dumb shit Ash does, and the world gets saved anyway somehow.
Yup.
But now he's a winner. He's a Pokemon champion.
Pokemon champion. Took him 20 years.
Wasn't his original goal to catch them all?
Well, he's got to catch them all.
Guys, I don't know where you would have gotten that.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know where you would have gotten that idea.
I just feel like I remember that.
No, I don't think so. I don't know where you got the idea that Ash catch them all. What was his last name? Oh, Ketchum. Would be trying to catch all the Pokemon.
No, you're right. That would be too strong of a coincidence.
That would have been, Yeah.
Okay.
Good for him. He's kind of like Rocky. You know?
You know he's lose. You're right, Andrew. He's our Rocky.
Pallet Town is a metaphor for Philadelphia. And Brock is his Apollo Creed. Is Brock dead? What happened to Brock?
We don't know. We assume Brock and Misty are dead at this point. We haven't seen them.
We haven't seen them in a while.
Brock, you know what? Brock probably got Me Too'd in this, and then he's just gone. Sorry.
I mean, if no one else has, we definitely did for them. We've talked a lot about Brock's inappropriate sexual activity on this podcast.
Because Brock is not a good dude.
No, he's not. Ultimately, he's not.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And today we're watching
Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. It is the first in the series of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel.
Did you know that
Well, Iron Man's in this one.
Oh yeah. Well, Brie Larson voiced the Mechanical Marvel. whatever its name was. I've already forgotten.
It was really controversial at the time, though. Everyone thought it should be a man that voiced it.
I looked up the voice cast halfway through this movie. There was a solid 20 minutes of this that I just checked out, and you could probably guess which point it was. But I at one point did check the voice cast just because I was just like, is there any like random person in this? Like, is there anybody who like shouldn't be
Tim
here?
Curry all of a sudden.
Because I was trying to think who was. I was like, Volcanion just sounds like a gruff old like curmudgeon. I was like, maybe they got like Ed Asner or someone. I don't fucking know.
Yo, I totally thought Volcanion was somebody. I also looked up the voice cast because I thought Volcanion was somebody that I recognized the voice of.
Yeah,
I didn't look up the voice cast because I just wanted to go on believing that it was maybe Gerard Butler.
I'll tell you, it's the superstar English dub actor Sean Shamel.
Sean Shamel. All right.
Whatever.
Respect. He did a good job. He was that he was fed a lot of horse shit to read into a microphone, and he nailed it. He really put some passion behind it.
Actually, I think this is the first movie that features the voice talent of former Philadelphia sketch comedian Billy Bob Thompson.
Billy Bob Thompson.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He left Philadelphia to do bigger and better things as we were like getting into Philadelphia sketch. So we've met him before. We've shared a green room with him before.
And now he's voicing Pokemon.
Yeah. So we're halfway there, I think.
Oh my god, he was Squishy and Froakie and Greninja? Oh my god. Sorry.
Yeah, he was also Gengar.
Oh, yo. One of my notes from this is just Gengars is scary.
He was Alva.
I don't.
Oh, steampunk wizard.
Oh, okay.
Steampunk wizard Jafar.
No shit.
Oh, the bad guy?
How did you look up the voice cast and not already go over this?
I forgot to look at that. Okay,
shit.
all right. Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. All right, gut checks on everybody. How do you? Before we'll start describing it in a second. How did you guys feel? Just like overall.
I got a lot of complaints. No, so the first thing that struck me, if you don't mind me going first here, is Volcanion is a water Pokemon, which is not what I was expecting at all.
Especially from his look.
Yeah, he's bright red.
Yeah.
Right. He looks like a fire beast.
Yeah. And maybe there is like an entomology reason for that's still making sense, but I don't know it. I'm not that smart, so I'm angry about it instead. Also, so I had to watch this at home. Usually I watch it instead of working in my office, but my wife asked 2 questions that really boggled my mind. Number 1, why does this always sound like porn? Because at the time, Ash was just being flung through the air and running into other Pokemon, and everybody's just going, as just over and over. It was really...
Pika!
The movie immediately proved her point. And are any of these good?
Any of the movies?
Yeah.
That was one of my main questions. That I did want to ask you guys at some point. Have you guys enjoyed a single one of these?
I'll tell you exactly what I told her. I said, no. Well, actually, one, but it's only good in the context of all of the others, so no.
You know, I think...
Which was the good one?
I don't remember the real name of it because we just call it Celebi's Nasty Nest.
It's good. It's Pokemon 4.
Isn't it called Pokemon Forever?
Yeah, it's Pokemon
that's the one.
Forever. Celebi's Nasty Nest, we call it. Compared to each other, there's good ones. Compared to movies, no, none of them are good. But
also, that was number 4. Andrew, if you had to guess, which number do you think this is that we're
was
on?
my next question. I'm thinking it's high teens, like a 16 or 17.
Okay. This is 21. We're 3
shit.
from the end. This was made in 2015.
I'm sorry.
So the good
Matt.
one was number 4.
That was like, I was still in school. Like, I was still in like grade school. That must have been like 2004 or something.
Right. This was 11 years after.
Jesus.
I
What year did
graduated
Pokemon 2000 come out?
Okay, guys, you ready for a bombshell?
Yes.
I kind of liked this one.
Really?
Like, I like this one kind of a lot.
This
is going to be very near the top of my list. I like this one a lot.
It was too much for me.
So I really checked out in the middle, but I didn't hate the end.
The end was so fucking cool. Well,
The end was kind of awesome. I'll say that.
The final battle,
the whole battle was cool.
20-some minutes before the end, but the final battle was really fucking cool.
There's a lot of crazy things that happened with little to no explanation, and sometimes that's all I need.
Well, I want to talk about that when we get to it, but I know some of the context, and I was imagining both of you watching it being like, wait, why the fuck is this glob of green a dog now?
Yes,
that didn't make any
Yes. That was Billy Bob, your friend.
Our best friend.
Right under my notes, right under the note that says Meowth equals good, it just says squishy ! Question mark. And then it says Mega Gengar is scary. And then it just says what is squishy?
I'll get to that when we get to it. Okay.
Is its name Squishy?
Its name is Zygarde.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, we start out with a narrator. We don't always get a narrator, but... we always get a narrator. This is the traditional narrator.
It is not.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think this is a different one, but the first one they've gotten that's really trying to nail the original voice. But they got rid of that original one for going too nuts about counting Pokemon, because this one says like over 700, and very calmly. He doesn't freak out about it. He's just like, there's over 700 Pokemon.
The other narrator would just go crazy and be like, there's like a billion of these friggin' things.
Yeah, I would love.
And then they told him to tone it down, and he did for a few movies, and then he started going off the rails again, and now he's replaced.
He's like, I'm looking at my hand right now, and I'm imagining how many cells are in it. There's more Pokemon than that.
I just like to imagine they handed him the number, and he's reading it for the first time. There's over 700 of these things. Oh, my
over 700? That's more than clouds in the sky.
I think the only spot when because I completely agree. I think the narrator did such, like, I literally wrote down, I now get Pokemon. Like, it was he was succinct in explaining this very complicated kids game, which you nailed it. But he got real sweaty when he was explaining the Mega Evolutions. He had to say some really crazy shit during that, and I was like, I don't believe you.
Imagine you're that voice actor and this is like your first job, and you're like, and you don't know anything about Pokemon. You're like, okay, so they use their Mega Stones to facilitate their ultra powered forms. Like,
as long as there's a strong bond between trainer and.
Am I reading this thing right? Is this really? Is there a typo? No. Okay. Just read it out as it is. Okay. And they're like, no, have fun with it.
Yeah.
How?
Oh God, I've always wanted to write a sketch where it's just the dude who had to record the Pokemon rap from way back when, just like recording that before Pokemon took off, and just being like, I don't know what I'm saying. You're telling me all these words.
It's like, well, you just read it phonetically to it. It's like rapping in another language.
Exactly.
When you don't know the language.
And then his like backup singer in the song is like, we're almost halfway done. Which is
And the guy's like, fuck.
I just don't want to do this, man. This isn't why we got into music. We're almost halfway done.
Yo, how many people have had to say that? How many people have been recording a song for a Pokemon movie and had to say, this is not why we got into music?
Oh my! This one is no different.
It is.
This was they got like a Black Keys type band. You could tell. You could tell it was 2015.
So okay. Well, also in this one, the something bizarre that might have passed you guys noticed because no one brought it up is he says, "Pokemon, the most magnificent creatures on this planet." This implies that there are other creatures on the planet that aren't Pokemon. Is he talking about like humans and he's like, yo, these Pokemon are way cooler than us dudes? Or is he admitting finally that there are animals that aren't Pokemon on the planet?
There's no such thing as animals on Pokemon planet.
Well, then
you just stop.
When he says most
Pokemon are
magnificent
animals.
creatures on this planet, compared to what? What is he talking about?
People and trees.
Okay, he's like,
But here's the thing,
us
Pat.
and trees suck.
Here's the
These
thing,
things
Pat.
are cool.
Some trees are Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
not all
But then there
Pokemon
are
are
trees that
trees.
aren't Pokemon. That we've confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
There are trees that aren't Pokemon.
So plants can exist without being Pokemon, but if an animal exists, it is a Pokemon.
Yes. I also liked.
I'm sure of it. It's all they eat.
Well, also think about this. Perhaps it is that mystery that lies at the heart of the world itself. I think I'm paraphrasing, but that's the question the narrator like poses at the end of it. And I was like, what is that? What does that mean?
Yo, he always does. I mean, it's a new guy, but it's like I think they just let them go off script at the end, and every narrator by the end of their intro is kind of like, and what is existence?
Why am I
creatures?
here?
What is love exactly?
So funny.
You know who might know? Ash Ketchum and friends.
So,
I did not bother to learn the names of Ash Ketchum's friends in this. I was like, I don't know who these people are
I know two of them.
personally.
Yeah. Well, they used to be comedians in the Philly scene way back when. Until they met Ash Ketchum and started traveling the world and like inventing hand-based inventions. Okay.
Yeah, so we're about halfway there. Right?
We start with a thing we haven't seen in a while.
Oh, an
that
airship?
I missed so dearly. A fucking sky
Fucking
fortress.
Sky
Yeah.
Fortress. This
Does
is a
one-
weird steampunk pirate ship
Mm-hmm.
flying fortress.
Well,
This
This movie
this got me
steampunk as
hyped.
fuck. Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna fucking rule.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw that Sky Fortress pop through a cloud.
Oh, it's
They
fucking
don't really
sick.
use it.
No, they don't.
They get off the Sky Fortress. It just starts there.
Yeah.
And then there's a different Sky Fortress, but we'll get to that. It's not great.
It's not. It's hard to tell what it is.
Oh, it's
It's
just
like
a
a
bunch
spider made out of towers.
There's not really like a clear horizon line on it. It's not good. Design.
Not really a good reason for it. I think we'll get there.
Oh,
So,
you mean how they bring it up
yeah.
in the last 30 minutes? By the way, another Sky Fortress coming at you. What? there's a cool battle on that Sky Fortress, but I don't think we see the end of it. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's some like rogue looking motherfuckers, and they're like, "Oh, something's coming," And we see that they have like a containment unit on board, and they're like, it's coming to get this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see a giant like pig dog, red metal beast
with a big old skin ring coming out of its back, a ring coming out of its back, but
that's
covered
made of
in its skin.
Do you think it's skin, or do you think it's like hard?
I think it's made of metal.
I think it's like fleshy Dr. Octopus arms.
Yeah. I think it's like maybe there's skin over top of it, like a weird kind of skin, but it's probably made out of like it's probably kind of like similar to bone or like horn.
How gross would it be if Dr. Octopus's arms had a skin covering on it? They would just wave it around like that.
I thought that it would make me look normal. What?
Like, you get grabbed by Dr. Octopus and pulled in, and you're like, do you have a pimple on this thing?
Well, it's like the Spider-Verse. The Spider-Verse Doc Ock has the weird, like, inflatable kind of, like, squishy ones. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
Yeah, what do you think's in those? I kept wondering if you, like, cut that open, what the fluid inside would be.
Oh, some sort of goo.
Yeah. Hot. So, yeah, there's this fight between the pig dog fire guy and some dude who looks like he either looks like Dash Rendar from the Star Wars games, or he looks like the character Jet from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So, okay, he runs out, he throws Pokemon out, they mega evolve, they attack.
They don't look like they enjoy it, which was upsetting.
I wonder if that'll come back later.
I wondered that too.
They attack the big flesh ring man.
Yeah, pig dog.
Yeah, they do a move called Freeze Drive, which involves one Pokemon freezing it and the other Pokemon
driving the car,
just ramming it and driving it off their airship.
I think the move is called Freeze Dry. But they freeze it in a block of ice and throw it off their fortress, and it plummets to its death, and the movie is over.
There are a lot. So this is a theme in this movie, is people falling off of an air fortress from a great height.
Yeah.
People and Pokemon. It just happens over and over.
It happens a lot.
There's a point near the end where it's just a big like train of them, and they just have a purple aura around them. So I'm like, I understand that means they'll be fine, but I don't know what's doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other dude just straight up falls on a jetpack that's malfunctioning. But
okay,
all right, we'll get there. So we don't want to spoil the movie for anybody watching along with.
I didn't say who it was.
There's a title screen, and for anybody that's watching along, is what we're saying. So, sorry. Press play now. And we'll sync up exactly. So there's a title screen, and if there was any doubt, this is a steampunk ass movie.
Yeah, they do that thing where like they cut away, like this is how they start Mission Impossible movies, right? There's a big action sequence that ends in tragedy, and then you hear like and then the title pops up and is uncovered from smoke, and it's like, who's excited for this right now? We just watched a person we don't know fight a Pokemon we don't know in a movie that nobody cares about
on an airship we don't know the name of. It's a lot of questions.
And then it cuts from this high octane thrilling action sequence to an equally thrilling scene of Ash and Pikachu hanging laundry. Hanging
for that weird little toddler kid.
They're hanging laundry. But Ash and all his gang of nerds, they all wear the same outfits every day. And the laundry that's on that line is none of the outfits that they wear.
Yeah.
So what I imagined was they got like a part-time job doing laundry of people.
I mean, that checks out.
Yeah. Well, because at one point near the end, I'm sorry I keep jumping around, but Ash at one point, I'm going to circle back to this. Ash at one point like encourages someone else to go out on the road on their own Pokemon adventure. And then I was just thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, Ash is kind of a vagrant. Like,
Yeah.
What does Ash do for money? And then also I was like, what do you think Ash's hygiene situation is like? Dude, that kid does not smell good. So
we found out he sleeps at hospitals, at Pokemon hospitals.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because they have to take your Pokemon, otherwise they don't know that your Pokemon will survive.
Guys, that genuinely hurt my heart to hear that. I'm like upset learning this boy. He sleeps in that's
in animal hospitals.
He sleeps in
10-year-old boy.
He also camps a lot.
This is so upsetting.
Well, it's okay. He only ends up having to travel for like 3 days before he becomes the chosen one again. And then he goes off on some mega adventure with gods. So it's gonna be alright.
And which one of these did like the gods start? Because I know there are Pokemon gods, and like I don't know where
Ash is friends with them.
What's up?
Yeah. No, Ash is friends with all of them. Go ahead.
Like, what movie was that? Was it like the fifth one? Probably.
It is
a
series
fifth of them.
Jesus Christ.
I would say there's like a 3-movie series that is about him interacting directly with the gods, but there is like almost a trilogy of trilogies, like a 9-movie run where they are touching on the effects of Ash having interacted with these gods, but not even Ash's interaction, just interaction.
His interaction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is a movie about Ash's erection.
Okay, we're talking about a 10-year-old boy. Let's not.
Well, he's a 10-year-old boy,
this.
but he's also like 45. So
Yeah, this is fucking wild.
But now he's folding laundry. Right now he's washing and folding laundry.
I know we touch on the paradox that is Ash's age a lot, but I do want to get back to like if in this movie he's either 10 or 11 or whatever, that means like the amount of stuff that he's done
has happened in like 6 months.
Yeah, when he met God, that was like 3 weeks ago. Like when he fell in love with a legendary Pokemon and then kissed it.
No.
Romantically, that was like last month.
He died about a week after starting his Pokemon adventure and then came back to life.
And he died like 2 more times at least
within the first month.
This is holy shit. Yeah, there's a point where like Meowth cries, and I was like, weren't Pokemon tears like a big deal back when I was a kid?
Pokemon tears brought Ash Ketchum's dead body back to life. They reanimated a dead Ash Ketchum once upon a time.
He turned to stone.
You'd think that Ash would have just like been like, oh, I know what those are. And when Meowth is crying, you would have like jumped to the floor, just rubbing his face and
lapping him up. Just, oh yeah.
Now I'm invincible.
He starts punching the ship.
Come on, Pikachu.
Okay. You'll never age me, time. Okay. So then they decide to do Pokemon battle practice, is what they call it, which they've never called it before.
That's so funny.
Oh, and we get another really good Pokemon noise. Blah.
What is that? What is that Pokemon that does that?
Noivern. It's like a wyvern and the word noise.
Oh.
And it's
dude, that one was sick. I literally wrote down the fuck's a Noivern because I was like, this thing's awesome.
Its voice is a human going blah. This is our first this is the first glimpse of who we learn is called Squishy. And
Squishy looks like a green, like worm, like a I'm trying to think of the word.
Like a paramecium. Yeah, no, that's exactly it.
It looks like a caterpie
that got left out in the sun.
This amoeba sees a meteor falling from the sky, and the
meteor.
The battle is so the battle that's going on. The battle practice is really just Pikachu and whatever the big Shinx is called, whatever that other guy's thing is called. I can't remember its name. They're just shooting electricity back and forth at each other and yelling. Like that's the whole battle.
Pikachu tries to headbutt an electric field and gets shot backward. That part was funny.
You'd think Pikachu would know better, but
his trainer is Ash, who
Yeah.
tries to headbutt or punch everything all the time. So it's like, that's the lesson you would you take after your parents to some degree.
that's true.
What other role models do you have? What other role models does little Pikachu even have?
Brock, I guess.
Oh no, that's not a good one. Stay away from him.
Well, I think that's maybe why Ash stopped hanging out with Brock. He was like, listen, the other day Pikachu tried to sexually harass the Nurse Joy, so Brock, you've got to go.
Brock, you've got to go. It's like, hey, come on, we're gonna hang out, man. I got you some beer. I'm 10. All right, I don't think this is
definitely, on top of being a creepy dude, was definitely the one that was trying to impress like tweens.
Yeah,
because they still thought he was cool.
How old was Brock? Like 27?
He could cook. Ooh, we got a new food out of this one too, so we'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay,
Andrew, you've got me jumping ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't know the structure of the podcast.
Well, you know movies?
Yeah.
How they go from like 1 second to the next second and stuff like that?
Oh, like
that's
time?
how the podcast goes. It just goes forward in time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like we like to follow a linear narrative.
Well, I'm just saying, I think this movie would have benefited from maybe a non-linear storyline. I don't know.
Here's
like a
Andrew.
Tarantino film.
Here's Andrew telling the story of Snow White. He goes, once upon a time. Oh, and there's this dwarf, and it's fucking rad. It like sneezes a lot, but oh, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, she's like asleep or some shit, and
Wait, I didn't mention the tall, dumb one. Let's unpack him for a little bit.
Oh, it's called Snow White.
There's this queen. She's fucking hot. But then there's this mirror. They don't really
she
explain
marries a
how
prince.
it works
But hold on, before that,
I want one of these mirrors.
so
Let's do the Disney Vault next. Once we get through Pokemon movies, let's rewatch every Disney movie.
So we'll still call it the very worst, and we'll just do Disney movies.
Just do the Land Before Time. There's like 30 of those.
And it'd be like, there's no reason it's called this anymore. The podcast stopped making sense. These guys talk about Pokemon a lot for a Disney fan cast. So okay, we don't know his name yet. The big pig dog guy with the ring crashes to the ground, and Ash gets a belt on him.
Yeah, so
What the fuck? Where did that come from? And what?
it was being used by that guy before the credits, right? He attached it to because they were trying to capture Big Pig Dog Boy.
Yeah.
And they did it by attaching like a magnetic ring to his leg and trying to attach the magnetic ring to the ship, I think. But somehow when he got kicked off, he took that other ring with him. So when he lands, it just attaches itself to Ash. Is any of this making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think I missed that part because I was too busy typing a fucking sky fortress into my document.
I zeroed in on this because then we had a really great gag of the two of them being magnetically kind of linked by these rings.
Oh my God. This is why I hate this movie.
I loved it.
Reminded me a lot of Wild Wild West, so I was really enjoying this part quite a bit.
It was. That's a bit from Wild Wild West.
Is it?
Yes.
I never watched Wild Wild West.
Okay, so there's this part where there's a big spider.
And here we get a line. So this Pokemon starts talking, and we get a line that is copy pasted from every other Pokemon movie, where Ash says, "You can talk," and then somebody else says, "Is it telepathy?"
And they don't answer it this time. Usually somebody just points out that it's telepathy.
Yeah, it usually goes, "You can talk? Is it telepathy?" It's telepathy is how that line normally goes.
Yeah, but this time that weird toddler is like, "Is that telepathy?" And then the Pokemon is just like, "Well,
fuck off, dick."
Yeah.
I liked him.
Also,
I liked that he was a
Ash.
tough boy.
Yeah.
with this magnetic ring around his waist is already at 100. He tries to walk away from this thing and towards Pikachu, and it starts pulling him back, and he's already going, "No, you!"
He's trying to fight magnetism itself. Yeah, so they get stuck together, and it's clear that, like, okay, this is the driver for the plot. This is how this is going to keep going.
Two kooky neighbors get handcuffed together.
It's a Midnight Run scenario, you know?
It really is
just like Midnight Run. I think.
So we have seen this a million times. You see it in sitcoms, you see it in movies. Two people accidentally get handcuffed together and have to deal with it. And every time there is a gag where they're trying to head in different directions and like just end up falling over, or one runs into the other, or one is much stronger than the other. It's just none of these other things do that for 10 minutes.
What I really like, okay, there's a couple things I really like about it. Science toddler.
Yeah.
He puts on like special glasses that apparently have the ability to see electromagnetic fields.
Right, that did happen.
He just has it.
That's cool. That's really neat.
Why did you invent those?
Wait, like, what are the sci-fi rules of the Pokemon world? Because they are it is like a sci-fi kind of fucking future, but then there's other places, like they go to this is the steampunk movie, but like why does he have those? Why would those come up? And he has like a weird Inspector Gadget backpack.
Yeah, he's an Inspector Gadget for sure.
Yeah, if you want to know the science fiction rules of this universe, you have to first understand that time and space are both giant bird bugs that exist between dimensions. And we'll work from there.
Well, yeah, this movie's a lot about neo-arcane science.
Yeah, one of my notes just says define arcane. Because they keep saying it like it's explaining anything. And I'm like, no.
Well, so here's what I like about this two guys get handcuffed together scenario is, number one, Volcanion's so grumpy that he just starts walking away with Ash just on his leg. Sure, and he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to keep walking. And Ash is like, what? He's just attached to a man's leg. Well, like a Pokemon's leg.
He keeps going, stop bumping into me. He knows what's going on.
And the other thing is that there's a lot of points in this movie where they're all doing whatever. And the big pig dog, whose name we don't know yet, starts just walking away, and Ash has to run after him to catch up. He's like, ah! And it makes me think about like all the times that Ash would just be like Ash is peeing, or Ash is like eating dinner, and the pig dog, we're gonna learn his name real soon so we can stop doing this, but starts just like stomping away grumpily, and Ash has to like stop what he's doing and like quick zip up his pants, like, oh no.
I did like that he does stomp, and his stomp sound effects are very noticeable. Like, really.
So we cut back to the rogues bringing their little containment unit to a Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yeah, very much a Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Yeah.
Everything but the giant lollipop.
Yeah.
His Pokemon is a big cake with a dumb face, so it's basically a lollipop.
Turns out inside the container is a steampunk Bo-Peep.
Yep.
Steampunk Bo-Peep. Is that how you... I thought it was a Robo-Rabbit.
It looks like a Robo-Rabbit.
I thought it would be called Robit, honestly.
You thought this was a rat... Andrew, how did you interpret this Pokemon?
No, it has like a weird rabbit. It has ears. It has rabbit ears, but then everything else just looks like cogs.
It's got a big puffy princess dress.
Yeah, it's got a big old tubby rabbit body.
Jeez, weird.
I think it's honestly Venn diagram. It's a little bit of both. Top half more rabbit, bottom half more Bo-Peep. Hands,
all right.
Hands are just points.
Half Bo-Peep, half robot, half rabbit.
Yeah,
all cop.
All cop. So we find out Fauntleroy's name is Raleigh. He's the Fauntleroy of the Ass-Off Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He's just shouting, guys, it's the Ass-Off Kingdom! The Ass-Off Kingdom!
I think they meant it to be like because we'll find out there's a lot of weird name play in this movie, like science-y name play. But
right.
I think they meant it to be like if you take the I and the M out of Asimov. So it's like Azov. But yeah, it just sounds like
the Asimov Kingdom.
Sounds like a
sounds
like a spring break competition called the Ass Off.
I won the Ass Off 2 years running, and Brock was there cheering me on the whole time. But yeah, no, in our group chat at one point, Pat just put the words "Ass Off Kingdom" in it, and I was like, and when I started the movie, I was just like, I just wanted to double check I didn't miss anything. I was like, what the fuck? Why did Pat put Ass Off Kingdom? Then 2 minutes later, like, welcome to the Ass Off Kingdom, and I was just like, yeah, okay, there it is.
I didn't know he was talking about the movie. I replayed all of Mario, and I was like, no, it's not in here.
Checking all your comic books.
I can't
What is he
find
talking about?
this Ass Off Kingdom.
And why is he telling Andrew about it too? Wait, this town is real weird. The Ass Off Kingdom.
Yeah,
you should have expected.
It's like a factory,
but it's like at some point they got stuck out of time. It is a very isolated,
yes,
steampunk town. So it's like in the turn of the century, early 1900s, they just cut themselves off from the rest of humanity, but kept developing technology and
Arcane
kept evolving.
technology.
So everything's based in steam power, but they all dress like pirates and newsboys.
Right. Well, and much like steampunk, there's a lot of stuff in this town that doesn't do anything. There's just like big rotating gear that's attached to nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, we have to spend $1,300 in electricity a year to keep this gear turning.
And they also, there's not to jump too far ahead, but they abandon all this halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
There's no more steampunk stuff at the halfway mark.
1,000%. But there was one point where I looked away for a minute, and then I looked back up, and Ash was just dressed up like a little steampunk boy. And I was like, what did I miss?
Oh, we'll get there. He's got a few dramatic costume changes in this. And the metal ring fits over all of them. Somehow every time he changes clothes, the metal ring is still on top of everything around his belly.
He's got so many, like, were they just trying to get action figures out of this movie?
Yeah, like they were trying to sell toys.
So, okay.
Yeah, people are buying Ashes. We got to have a lot more options for Ash, so people will buy an Ash Ketchum. You know, the merchandise the kids want.
The big pig dog guy, he's chasing down the bad guys. At one point, they come across Team Rocket, who are in Ass Off Kingdom, eating what looks like a really nice dessert tray.
Yeah, I was
It
perplexed by this.
Looks like a really nice dessert tray, except for all of the desserts are shaped like cogs.
Yeah. It's this place. This might actually, now that I think of it, it might more be like a resort town, like a gimmicky resort town.
Or it's a town of people with like some obsessive compulsive problems.
Yes. We love the cogs. The cogs give us strength.
I do think it's really funny.
We are the cogs.
See the cogs.
They spend way too much time on Ash and our new pig dog Pokemon being stuck together, but then they do end it really well when the Pokemon is like, fuck all this, I'm going to help my friend, and he just shoots himself off into the air. Now we find out he can fly, and Ash just has to flail along in the air going, ah!
And he's like, you're messing up my flight pattern.
But he does call him a piece of shit. He says, you're messing up my flight pattern, you piece of shit.
And then they crash into Team Rocket, just minding their own business, just trying to enjoy dessert in this weird...
And I have a question about Team Rocket. I literally wrote down, are Team Rocket villains? Because they're just like international criminals, and they're just in the open, like enjoying a beautiful cafe meal. I'm like, shouldn't they be like? Wouldn't anyone arrest them? What's their deal?
All we know about Team Rocket at this point is that they're definitely homeless. We think they don't belong to Team Rocket anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, like they've been disavowed. I'm sorry I've used this example before in the podcast, but the easiest way for me to explain it is I think it's like the Invader Zim scenario where he was just so bad that they were like, you know what, just go to this place that's super far away, try to achieve this unattainable goal, and don't contact us again until you have.
That's our current theory, but it's impossible to tell what Team Rocket's motivations or economic strategy is.
Yeah. Do you think that they also
But they're
sleep
eating at
in
a fancy
hospitals?
restaurant.
They're not allowed. They're probably banned from the hospital.
Oh, that sounds really rough.
Okay, we come back to who I called Steampunk Bo-Peep, but you guys called Rabbit
It's like a
Lady.
rabbit. I'm totally
Robot
down calling
rabbit.
it a robot the whole time.
Rabbit.
Robot.
So this robot is
Robot.
flashing back to the time that she apparently talked to Jesus Christ about her purpose in the world.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's all these levels, and now we're getting into like a socio-political prestige drama about how this royal family relates to each other. And
the flashback is interrupted by the pig dog showing up. Little Lord Fauntleroy is like, "Oh, so you're the guy who wants to take Magirna back." So now we have a name. It's Magirna.
yeah,
Yes.
combination of Maggie and
Gearna.
ear.
And
Nah.
Nana.
Oh.
Oh, nah. Maggie, ear, nah.
And of course, Magirna is
All right.
voiced by Dame Maggie Smith, who did a great job.
Mostly spoken whistles, but
Yeah.
really good celebrity cameo.
Yeah.
I'm confused as to whether or not this is a Pokemon, though, right?
They say it is that, but it's like a created one.
It's a Pokemon that they built.
Yes.
It's a robot that
Well,
they...
This kind of harkens back to a question Pat's had for a long time. If you build a robot, is that a Pokemon?
I think it
And
needs-
apparently, in previous movies, the answer was no. In
But
this movie, the answer is 100% yes.
But I think but as we learn, this has a soul. So I think that's probably what's missing. Like, I don't know how it got a soul. I don't know where it found one. I don't know how they
There's
put it in.
There's a lot about this soul, and we have no idea what the origins of it are.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like Moses, the guy that invented Maggie. Yeah, let's go with Maggie. Actually.
Maggie's
Let's make this
Maggie.
podcast a lot more easy.
Well, in a second, I'm just going to say his name because in a second we're about to learn it anyway. We could call him Maggie, and the other one's name is Volcanion.
But I bet you didn't guess that up to
Yeah.
this point.
We call him Maggie and Canny. Or do you guys like Maggie and Volky?
Maggie
Vulcan.
and Volcanion. I think you have to go with the full name. It's,
Respect. I respect him. So he can destroy mountains. So I'm not going
I
to call
respect
him.
him because he curses a lot. At least in my memory about this movie, he says a curse word and everything.
He's such a gruff
him.
boy,
He's
I really enjoyed that.
he's very like he's like stern, but you can tell there's a heart. He's like a dad. He's got like a
He's like Edward James Olmos in Battlestar Galactica.
yeah.
So we meet. So, okay. Volcanion shows up and he's trying to steal Maggie back. And suddenly there's a steampunk wizard there, too.
Mm-hmm.
They all pop out some Pokemon. They fight the guy. What happens here?
They definitely
this-
mega evolve him too.
They mega evolve.
Yeah, they mega evolve. They have bracelets. We saw them in the beginning, but now we're seeing them again. They have like bracelets and staffs that light up, and then their Pokemon all mega evolve, and then usually kick ass.
We
Yeah.
cut. There's also in this sequence a time where they cut to Little Lord Fauntleroy's sister, who looks kind of like Veruca Salt, but wearing like a prettier dress, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's like jetpacking around.
Right.
Looks like Heidi, maybe.
She's got an Agent Cody Banks like weird like gyrocopter backpack.
And she's got her own personal like hacker assistant.
Oh, of course. Oh, who's Flamel or something? And I was like, what?
I did not pick up her name at all.
I don't know why that's the one name I learned in this fucking movie.
So Volcanion gets frozen the exact same way again.
Mm-hmm. And you know that pissed him off.
And
then, fucking goddamn it.
Damn piece of shit. Fuck. I should have saw this
damn
coming.
ice.
Why didn't I fucking prepare for this? It was this damn kid. And then Ash starts yelling at little Lord Fauntleroy.
Oh, real nice, dude. Way to freeze him and then try to ask a question. Idiot.
Good work, idiot. And Fauntleroy's like, hey, what? I'm a prince. You can't talk to me. And Ash is like, oh, you're a prince, huh? Like, oh, I didn't know you were an anarchist, Ash. No gods, no kings. Ash Ketchum.
You're a prince of a resort town. I hate to break it to you. Your whole kingdom's a gimmick, kid.
Oh, you're a prince? I've been struck by a god.
I've conversed with gods, child.
I love that Ash treats children of authority this way. Like, if they're younger than him, but they're technically more important than him, he is just incredibly disrespectful and dismissive.
He doesn't just hate, like, adults and cops and stuff. He hates animals that seem to have authority.
Yeah.
He hates brick walls that seem to have authority. Anything that's trying to tell him what to do, including sometimes like gravity, he just gets mad at and yells at, and he's like, you can't stop me.
It's like magnetism from earlier.
But then they're all friends. This tactic of Ash's usually seems to work.
It works every single time.
Nobody likes being yelled at, I guess.
Which it feels like like if it always works for Ash, maybe it can work for us. And so tomorrow, so today's Sunday. Tomorrow, the three of us will all go into work. We'll go up to our boss and we'll say, "You can't tell me what to do," and then stomp away. And then maybe we'll all get promotions.
Ooh.
I like that you had to specify that today's Sunday, because usually we record this before we go to work in the morning. So it wouldn't make sense that we have to wait till tomorrow to do it. 3:30 a.m. I wake up. 4 a.m. I go for a run. 5 a.m. I watch a Pokemon movie. 6:30 a.m. I record a podcast about that Pokemon movie. 7 a.m. Well, actually, that would be like, okay.
I go to work at
10:30. 6 o'clock, I record a Pokemon podcast. I guess about 11 o'clock, I would get in the shower.
You know what I call out of work? I gotta go.
We're still in the beginning of the movie. If you want an idea, Andrew, of how long it takes to get through this.
We find out that Maggie was built using this is neo-arcane science.
When they said neo-arcane science, I was so happy.
The Jesus Moses figure who created the whole steampunk village and Maggie, his name is Nikola. Like Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. They're not subtle about some of these.
And they said that Maggie got lost during a fucking war? What? No other mention of this war. That was a war. The end.
We lost her in the war, and now she's back.
What?
And we're fine. And we're fine, aren't we, Maggie?
So then Ash's gang shows up and starts like blowing, like all his Pokemon show up and start blowing everyone up, and then
it's awesome. Pikachu flies in with like I literally wrote Pikachu Air Force. Pikachu's on the back of another Pokemon, and like two other ones do like a low flyover everyone, and they're like Pika, just shooting lightning and energy beams at everyone. It's fucking cool.
It's pretty cool. And then Magirna goes with Volcanion willingly. So it's the first time you're like, oh, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys?
No, I had that question the entire time. I literally just asked you if Team Rocket was evil. I don't know.
Then we cut back to Ash's nerd friends, the nerds. They're running through town for some reason. Like, they have no idea where they're going. They're just running around and like, hurry!
We gotta find it!
To illustrate this, like, like wild directionlessness, Clement just jumps on an elevator by himself for no reason.
And then, like, a minute later, he's like, look at this. I'm on it's like an airport. Wow.
And they're like, we have to focus. We have to find them. It's like, you're just running in circles, you little kid. Then everybody meets up, and...
it works somehow.
Yeah.
Wait, when they meet up, Volcanion picks up his, like, gun arm and points it at all of them. And he like,
I've destroyed mountains. Get out of my way.
He gears up, and then nothing happens, and that's okay. It happens to all guys sometimes.
All right. Yeah, we should explain that weird ring of flesh on his back splits into two and becomes arms that have guns at the end of them, water guns.
But they're also like vacuums.
Yes.
They're like vacuums, or he can point them backwards and use them as a rocket to fly around.
Yeah, because he immediately starts shoves them into water and starts sucking it up. Which and then he's talking about how he was trying to blast everything, blast them. So he was trying to shoot Ash in the face, and it failed. And he was like, hold on. I can't blast. And he says, I can't blast anything without water. This guy, as we will find out, loves
to blast.
Loves blasting. Well, Pat, blasting makes him feel good.
Blast.
Makes me feel good.
He calls Pikachu an electric nuisance.
Oh,
he says,
I genuinely actually loved that.
He says, I will never trust humans.
Yeah.
Or any Pokemon who does trust humans. And it's like, well,
and you know what?
I wonder if we've ever heard this in a Pokemon movie before.
Ash is a lot more annoying about it this time, though. He's really, not all humans campaigner in this.
He was probably just sick of dealing. He's like, a fucking... Just not all humans, man. Like, how many times do I have to tell you guys?
I've been the chosen one 90 times.
Have you guys heard of the prophecy? Oh, which one? Any of them. I'm in all of them.
And I'm pretty fed up about it today. So why don't you just? All right, we're gonna just crap this one out real quick, okay? Get you liking humans.
Oh, we find out that Team Rocket has met with Little Lord Fauntleroy and the bad guys, and they're all going to team up anyway.
Yeah, but Little Lord Fauntleroy isn't a bad guy as far as we know.
We don't know yet. We just know that Little Lord Fauntleroy is hanging out with bad guys.
But these other guys are clearly bad news.
Right.
And
he's got little glasses.
Team Rocket is explaining that they know Ash and they know how to, get in with him.
I don't know.
They don't really give him any useful information.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, if you give us some food, we'll tell you some of his name.
Please give us some food.
We've run across this child a couple times. We know a little bit about him.
He's beaten us up about 700 times. I'm sure we could be of use to you. There's a really weird interaction here, right? When all the gang is together with Maggie and Volcanion, which is Volcanion keeps telling them, insulting them to their faces and threatening to kill them.
Yeah.
And they're just running around and going shopping and acting ignoring Volcanion completely and being like, "Oh, this is fun." And this is when they dress Ash up like a 1920s street urchin.
Yeah, they run away, find him some clothes. They come back and they say, "We got clothes since your clothes are such a wreck." And I don't know if I missed at the beginning of the movie where they don't get to wash his clothes and then whatever happened to make his clothes super dirty, or if they're just coming back to be like, "You're a mess," but it's like a makeover thing that they're doing.
I have no fucking clue.
At this point, this is what I wanted to get to earlier because this kind of blew my mind. We've seen Clement use his weird mechanical arm that pops out of his backpack before. But this time he's using it to try to get them out of the rings. And I don't think they've shown this before. They zoom in on his hands and he's using two controllers, one in each hand, to control one mechanical arm.
How much? I don't know how much time we want to dedicate to trying to figure out the science of Clement, because literally this is the last movie we will ever look at him.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He dies?
Yeah, at the end of this one, you didn't see that?
Yeah, he gets shot in the head with a gun.
But it's cool. Pokemon's wielding it. That is wild. That he fucking he needs to bench both of his hands in order to use a third hand that he doesn't really need.
It just seems inefficient.
It's really inefficient.
Volcanion yells at Maggie for some reason here, and then Maggie has this weird thing she does where she makes flowers in her hand.
Yeah,
which she'll do a lot in this movie, and uses it to make Volcanion sneeze because she's mad at him.
Yeah, because he's allergic.
Yeah.
This is played for humor.
Right. In real life, he would need to be like running to get an EpiPen.
There's so many. So we're still in like the first half of this movie. We are,
yes,
I think, near the halfway point at this point.
Yeah.
They have done so many cheap comedy gags. Like this is a Three Stooges movie.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
Gags are good, right?
I'm mad about it.
The prince and the princess argue about which is more important, the future, the past, and whether they should trust somebody that they refer to as Alva, which I assumed was the steampunk wizard, and turns out it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Turns out he's a Jafar type character.
Like a
An
vizier.
advisor to the prince who is actually evil.
Yeah, yeah.
Which you can see. He wears like very narrow goggles and has shoulder length purple hair. Like that's a bad guy.
He's got tiny little glasses, and he has a staff.
Yeah, he carries around a staff
that forcibly mega evolves Pokemon.
and he doesn't have a beard. Staff and beard are good. Staff, no beard.
Yes.
Is bad.
Exception Saruman.
Wait, no. Yeah, Jafar also had a beard.
Yeah, but he had like a well trimmed goatee. I'm talking just like a wild beard. Staff and wild beard is good.
That guy's good. That dude's got you. You're good. Staff and maintained beard, or like even if it's Saruman's beard was like really clean, like he clearly brushed it a lot. He was silky.
No, stay away from that guy.
Yeah, stay away from him. He's a bad boy.
Yeah, but like Little John
Staff
from Robin Hood, Prince
big
of
wild
Thieves.
beard.
Yeah, big wild beard, big old staff, and that guy ruled. He was
Dumbledore, big wild beard, staff.
Gandalf, of course.
Splinter.
Splinter. Yeah, he had a scraggly beard.
Dude, that dude's all beard. He's covered in it. He's simply covered in beard.
He's a walking, punching, kicking beard.
If you can think of examples to prove or disprove this theory, please call us
607-323-7168
and let us know. I don't know. I'm trying to get the voice. Do we have voicemails today?
We will.
Okay.
Yes.
Ooh, also,
we're
for
just
sure,
trying to get the voice. This
let
phone
me
ringing,
know
you
if you think Splinter is all beard, because I'm curious if people agree with that.
What, you think he's like a naked rat that just grew a beard that covers his body?
That's an option. You can weigh in on that, or do you think would you constitute all of Splinter's hair as just a beard? I don't know. It's not a good question.
Just a beard. Is a beard a fur, or is fur a beard?
I don't know. When it comes to mutants,
Oh yeah, like is the hair on your chest like a?
What'd you call that beard?
What do you call that beard?
but it all connects.
Well, we call it hair.
What do you? Yeah, what is hair? Is hair a beard? Is hair a head beard?
It's hair a head beard.
No, Andrew's right.
Tweet
This
at us,
isn't a
let
good
us know.
question.
Yeah, it's not a good question, but please weigh in.
Please weigh in. I want the next episode to have the most voicemails we've ever had.
Ever.
And all about this very horrible question, which is hair a beard? Is beard a fur? Is Splinter all beard? Or any rat? Is any rat just a beard?
Yes, please. And
What
also
happens
the
if a
thing
naked-
about staffs or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Because that's a
what's
good question.
impressive? There's a really impressive thing so Volcanion and all the gang, they wander into the woods and they camp. All right, and the thing that's impressive here is Ash adjusts to the situation where he's stuck to Volcanion. He adjusts so disturbingly well. What he says is he's like, well, since we're stuck together now, we might as well have fun. And it's like, oh, I guess I'm attached to you forever. Let's just live our lives this way.
Then if I am, for whatever reason, mistakenly handcuffed to a 10-year-old, the last thing I want to hear about is how much fun he's having.
Neither of them really tried to like get out of that, right?
No, Volcanion was in denial, and Ash just thought it was kind of cool.
I'm flying.
So Clement, trying to be helpful, God bless him, makes Iron Man armor for Ash.
Why did he do it? He was just like, oh, by the way, I made you an Iron Man suit.
Using what? I don't know.
Who knows? I did it in an hour.
It can withstand any attack.
It is
Yes.
an invincible suit
It
of
makes
armor.
you invincible to everything we'll find out except for
Water.
touching water.
And somehow, they get it on him
And then-
underneath the magnet ring around his waist.
Do you think
Yeah.
they just like tucked it? And then like shimmied the ring up? That sounds harder because it's magnets and it's a metal suit.
There's been a lot of Ash changing clothes in front of everybody while wearing a metal belt and with no...
He's a vagrant 10-year-old boy. He has no boundaries.
He has no shame at all.
No.
Oh, God, I hate the idea that every person traveling with Ash has seen him naked. Like, I really... This is the reality we're painting, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Team Rocket gets some new Pokemon and attack the gang.
And they mega evolve them. And they're
They
like,
mega
oh,
evolve them.
shit. They're like,
Yeah,
how'd you
it doesn't
do that?
really
Right.
matter.
And, well, then one of the girls, I think Serena, is like, you mega evolved them and you're not bonded to them. How do you think they feel about it? So now we have an ethical conflict, I guess.
Well,
I would like to unpack this a little bit. The mega evolutions are crazy to me, and they're kind of they're a weird thing I like in movies. I like this part of it. I was like, this is kind of nuts, and I don't hate this. It's like a weirdly specific trope that I don't have a lot of good examples of, where like villains or side characters get this weird like corruption of power and turn into like monstrous versions of themselves that then just like lose. Like they're clearly uncomfortable and they're like they're like in pain when the mega evolution comes, but then when they evolve they just seem like dead-eyed and happy to be that like strong, and it kind of freaked me out, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this.
Right, yeah, there is something like hauntingly, there's something chilling about it. And that is like a trope that's happening. I also can't think of an example that's not a Pokemon movie, but that is a trope where it's like the villain hasn't earned this level of power, and because of that, it hurts whoever they're using it on.
Yes, the World of Warcraft movie has a lot of that, and I was like, oh, I don't hate this.
Maybe in like The Mask it happens.
oh yeah, I guess so.
It does. It happens to that dog. I don't think that dog knew what was going to happen. Actually, that dog was
Lost
pretty
World,
smart.
Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
That's how the T-Rex attacks L.A.
Yeah.
Kanye West song.
Power.
One man.
Yeah. No
No man should have all this power.
Yeah. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Happens.
Let's just meditate on this.
All right,
for a while.
go ahead and sound off in the voicemail.
Give us a voicemail, 607-323-7168.
Look, if you
on
guys ever want me back on the pod just to pose more terrible questions,
Just let us know who didn't deserve who hasn't earned the level of power they have. We'll leave it that broad. Go ahead and call us and just let us know.
Okay, number one, and this is what these are the questions you're answering when you call. And I want every listener to call. Everyone who's called before everyone who's been thinking of calling but hasn't called, I need all of you to call in the next week and tell us, beards, are they fur? Is fur beard? Anything about, just tell us anything about hair. Just give us your hair opinions. Number 2.
Power. Give us your opinions.
Who's got it?
Power.
Who's
Good,
got it?
bad.
He shouldn't have it. And I'm sure we'll have a third before the end of this.
The third one was staves.
Staffs. Yeah, who should have a staff? A person with a beard? Maybe?
Guys,
Who knows?
Guys,
okay.
this is all. Jafar falls under all of these. I just want to throw it out there.
It did happen with Jafar. He made Genie have power he didn't want, and it made Genie uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
This is the plot of Aladdin!
Oh, shit.
Okay. Volcanion calls Ash a cheerleader, which is the most fucking apt thing I've heard in one of these movies. Like, of all the criticisms anyone's ever levied at Ash, calling him a cheerleader is number one. Like, nailed him to a T. He's not a hero. He's barely a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fucking cheerleader.
He's really, I think this is why I like Volcanion so much, is because he says the things that I want to say to Ash. Because Ash is cheering for him. Ash is like, good luck, man. You can do this. I'm sure you're going to get your girlfriend back and save the world, you know? And she's like, I don't need a fucking cheerleader. And then jets off.
And then Ash follows because he's magnetically attached.
So it doesn't really take effect.
So it's in this movie several times people will be fighting and Ash will be like, you can do it. And it's like, you cheerleader. Okay, so Team Rocket, they trap the nerds and Magirna in a hole. But then the princess from earlier shows up with a shiny Gardevoir who, surprise, mega evolves.
Yeah,
it's almost like this movie's trying to promote a specific Pokemon game.
She's got her own mega evolve weapon, which is cool, I guess. We didn't know that. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of just they're in a real pickle, except this person has way more power than you thought.
Yeah.
It's bad writing.
No, that's just what Mega Evolution is. Okay, hold on. They blast Team Rocket into space.
Yeah.
That's just
classic.
Then Volcanion explodes. He makes a giant crater in the forest, like a nuclear blast
and
level.
That's when he mentions he's just like, I've destroyed mountains, boy.
Right. Well, because Ash goes, Ash is unharmed by this.
Ash is, so right before this happens, Ash is
suit.
fighting Pokemon. He's in his Iron Man suit. They're coming at him.
And he's punching them.
And he takes a swing at one of them. It's not successful, but they bounce off of his suit and are like, oh.
It's been so long since we've seen Ash try to punch a Pokemon. And in this movie, he does it like 3 times.
In a mech suit.
They were like, because what happened was like 7 Pokemon movies ago, they're like, ooh, we've had Ash punch Pokemon so many times. How do we top it? And it took them 9 movies to be like, oh, mech suit.
Yeah. Oh, mech suit. We'll have him punch a mega Pokemon.
A mega Pokemon, yes. Good.
So there's the explosion. Ash is unharmed. He says like something like, "Oh, science is really cool."
Oh, I wrote that down.
Science is so amazing.
Yeah, science is so amazing. Yeah.
And he's just talking about the Iron Man suit too.
And I think and he protects Pikachu, which was cool. Like he's like shelled over top of Pikachu, and it's just good because Ash is going to be wearing that for the rest of the movie, and it's going to just protect him, and he'll be able to have like a different view of these Pokemon battles.
Right, yeah, he's clearly for the rest of the movie he's going to be wearing an Iron Man outfit. It's going to come into play later, like probably a really big way. It's going to be like what saves the day.
Yeah, I feel like they're pivoting the series towards like Ash as Iron Man. He just goes out and starts fighting Pokemon himself.
They'll start the next movie with Ash already in an iron suit.
And he's just kicking a Bellsprout in the face.
Around.
You know he wants to. But this is where Volcanion is like, I've leveled mountains. Which is basically it. Like if you guys heard Andrew saying that and we're like, well, I'll get context for that later. Nah, he just kind of says it at some point.
He just kind of says it.
It's pretty badass
awesome.
at the time, though.
Are we all in agreement that Volcanion's pretty fucking awesome? Because the more that we're talking about him,
yeah.
He is like my favorite Pokemon now.
He's the grizzled old hero that of legend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care about any of Ash's bullshit. He has no respect for him. He's just like,
fuck off, boy.
Fuck off, boy. I'm cutting to the end, but he says something so crazy near the end where he's talking about how he was friends with Maggie, and someone's just like, wait, wasn't that 500 years ago? And he says, I don't know how you measure time, but it took place in the ancient past, which is so fucking funny.
It's like, well,
he contradicts himself. It's great.
Yeah, it's number one. Yeah, it seems like you have a way of measuring time. But number two, maybe you should keep a little better track because 500 years ago is not the ancient past.
Especially if you live that long.
Yeah. Yep.
Like 500 years ago, we had like cities.
Also, I feel like a year is the easiest measurement of time to understand, right?
Oh, it's
4
winter
seasons.
again.
You know how you know how everything repeats after a certain amount of time? It's how many of those?
Yeah. So, all right. The princess meets Maggie, and Maggie flashes back to when she met a princess that looked exactly like this princess. Oh, God, okay, I'm going to jet through the next few notes because I think this part's boring as fuck.
This is probably where I tuned out.
So the princess is trying to save them from her brother, who she feels is brainwashed by Alva, the evil wizard steampunk man.
Mm-hmm.
Volcanion, so they're going to all fly away in a techno ship. Volcanion doesn't want to because he hates humans, so he walks along next to the ship and makes Ash have to just like hang off his leg. We find out that the bad guys are spying on them the whole time. This is where we meet the Pokemon hunter because they find a hurt Pokemon.
They find a hurt Pokemon.
Coked out of his mind.
Yeah, he's definitely on.
I'm gonna get ya.
He pulls out an RPG.
He's like one of the guys from. He's like one of the gangs from the Warriors. He's like, come out and play.
He pulls out
I got something launcher. Nice for you, Volcanion. And he just pulls out an RPG and shoots a beast with it.
He shoots the Pokemon with a bazooka.
It's fucking awesome, actually, now that we're talking about it.
And you know how they defeat him? How they defeat the man with the bazooka? They make it foggy out.
Yeah, they just produce a bunch of steam, and he goes, whoa, because he's trying to shoot a missile launcher out of the side of his car that he's driving.
You know what Ash's response to this is? Ash, who we've seen fight hundreds of villains and be on these adventures, he says, so bad things like this? They happen a lot? What?
You've died. You've died, child.
You've stubbed your toe before. Like, you know what life is.
So bad things like this, they happen, huh? I feel bad for the writer who is just trying to inject anything. Just anything into this.
Then we get to Maple or Naval or whatever it's called. Naval Plateau.
The Naval Plateau.
This is my understanding.
I think it's naval like belly button, not naval like the Navy.
This is my understanding of what happens during the sequence. Can I just ask me if I'm right or wrong? Because this is 1,000% where I just checked out.
Are you right or wrong?
Ash gets in the water with Volcanion, right? Mm-hmm. And then his suit blows up. And then all the Pokemon are there, and then at first they're mad at each other, and then they give them flowers and cakes, and then they're nice to each other. And Volcanion's still just like, I don't think I'm doing that.
Oh man, Andrew, you missed, I think, my favorite sequence.
Okay.
So first of all, they I forget why, but they jet off into the sky and they land in a small pond, and Ash's iron suit starts absorbing water, which is science, I guess. And it absorbs so much water that it pops like a water balloon. And he's now just half naked. He's wearing boxer shorts and an undershirt.
Another action figure.
Yeah, another costume.
And the metal ring. Metal ring's still intact.
And the metal ring is still there, yeah.
That
Everything but the metal.
Yeah, anyway.
And then they're in the woods. They meet a bunch of Pokemon who don't trust humans. One of them, and I'm sorry, you skipped right over this, Andrew, and you don't know, so it's not your fault. But one of them is a Psyduck.
Okay, hold on.
The first appearance of
Yeah, it's the first appearance of Psyduck in this movie.
In a first appearance of Psyduck in a very long time. 37 minutes, 37 seconds. Pull it up. Psyduck is one of these many Pokemon in the forest that don't trust humans, but that love Volcanion. It turns out Volcanion has been kind of like overseeing them and protecting them all this time.
Because Volcanion's he's a legendary Pokemon. He's a mythical Pokemon who that's like his territory.
Yes, he's mythical. Yeah, he's both him and Magearna are mythical Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's only one of them. Just two other notes I had about that sequence. Number one, another Pokemon, a hidden Pokemon Utopia. This is the 50th of these we have. Okay. Also, number two, also, it's like a day's walk from the giant city. How does nobody know about this? Okay, anyway.
Well, I have a question about Psyduck. Is Psyduck in all of these? Is there any significance for Psyduck to be there?
We haven't seen Psyduck for about 15 movies.
Yeah,
Wow.
so Misty had a Psyduck, and
Yes.
Psyduck was a tertiary character in almost every movie until Misty left.
And it's Pat's favorite Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I guess I don't just radiate Psyduck is my favorite Pokemon energy.
You radiate more like Snorlax is your favorite Pokemon.
That's fair. It's a very close second.
Yeah, I've always been big on Dragonite personally. I feel like
I was gonna say Andrew radiates Charizard as my favorite Pokemon. energy.
I was
I'm not
offense,
that
Andrew.
basic.
I was gonna say Lickitung.
Yeah, no.
So while the nerds are healing that Pokemon they
I have a
found,
thing.
Ash yells at it. You've got to be strong, which is just a very Ash thing to do, yelling at a sick Pokemon in its face, telling it to get better.
Oh, well, no, I was gonna say that's when they put the bandage on it. And they throw a bunch of lore at you where they're just like, the bandage is freezing. They're like, that means that it's healing. That's a sign of the healing process. I'm like, okay, sure.
Again, a fact that I was like, oh, I should write this down. This might come up later in the movie. And then, nope.
My least favorite part of the whole movie is about to come up. But first, another one of my favorite Pokemon of all time shows up. A Pokemon who I was literally talking about completely separate of this podcast. I was talking about today.
Wow.
And that Pokemon is Litwick, the little candle. The little squishy candle Pokemon who bounces around. What a good Pokemon.
That's good Pokemon.
Yeah. Clement makes friends with a Gulpin who's just like a little sack of poison with lips.
They all make friends. Volcanion seems to be dropping his I hate humans thing. And also Volcanion is like, I'm going to keep lookout tonight while all the Pokemon sleep in the woods. And Ash, of course, has to come with him. So Volcanion is keeping lookout and is like, you should sleep to Ash to try to encourage him to get some rest. And he's like, no, if you're on lookout duty, that means I'm on lookout duty, which is not how lookout duty works.
No.
You need to take shifts.
Yeah. You're bad at this, dude.
But also, he, within like 10 minutes is fast asleep.
He's 10 years old. But Volcanion looks down at his sleeping boy body and goes,
He thinks it's cute.
yeah, he's in love. Like, platonic love. Like, fatherly love.
Yeah.
Which, wait, can we discuss that for a second? The relationship between Maggie and Volcanion, is that romantic in nature? Is that like a father-daughter thing, or
It is
what?
very and disturbingly ambiguous.
Okay.
I'd probably lean more towards the father-daughter stuff, though. I think he feels,
I was.
Yeah. It's much more protective, right?
I was leaning towards the father-daughter stuff until the end when it felt very romantic. And it made me uncomfortable because I had already decided it was father-daughter.
When they made out. That was weird.
Yeah.
For like a while.
Well, I mean, he's the gruff, grizzled Pokemon. He gets to curse and he gets to tongue kiss.
Come here, baby.
But she's just metal, so he's just licking metal.
It's just steam, just condensation, just like getting all over the cogs. Gross.
So, Gulpin and Clement help get rid of Ash's, both their magnetic belts.
By spitting acid at it, and then his mechanical hand turns into a saw, like a circular saw, and
cuts through the now brittle
cuts
metal.
through what is now like a half a millimeter of metal,
Right next to Ash's dick.
next to well,
like, hold on,
if he
we're about to
cuts through,
shoot acid and throw a buzzsaw at your dick, so just stay still.
You got it, guys. I'll be fine.
He puts his hands on his hips and thrusts his pelvis outward. He's like, get it!
As long
Can't
as
burn me.
As long as we have our Pokemon together, I'll be okay.
With the power of friendship, I know my dick will be safe. So Ash, overcome with emotion, immediately hugs Gulpin without its consent, and Gulpin loses its shit.
Yeah.
And the explanation that comes out... So immediately I was like, yes, this makes sense because...
Too friendly, too fast.
Too friendly, too fast, and we've already heard these Pokemon don't trust humans.
Yeah.
Yes.
There clearly doesn't need to be any deeper backstory here.
Unless they want to break your little heart.
So Volcanion gets mad and he's like, leave, and Ash is like, no, and Volcanion's like, I'll blast you. And Ash is like, you try it. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like, what do you think you're gonna do?
Your
Like,
indestructible
don't act like
suit
a tough
is
guy.
gone.
Yes, it blew up because you touched water. Anyway, this is where I wrote, I think this movie is kind of good. But then immediately afterwards, we get a story from Volcanion. Because Ash comes back a little later with a tray of, and we'll have to talk about these, but a tray of Pokepuffs.
Pokepuffs.
And he apologizes to Gulpin for hugging him, and then Volcanion says, he was abandoned by his trainer.
Right.
He doesn't know why it happened, but all he knows is that before his trainer left, he gave Gulpin a big hug. It's like... It's like, what? Gulpin's now trauma. Like... You could have just been like, he doesn't trust humans now. You don't have to make him traumatized by hugs.
Yo, honestly, that got me. I was like, oh, of course the guy doesn't like hugs. He just made friends with Ash, and then Ash, as far as he knows, is like, fuck off, buddy. And, like, that's what a hug is to him.
Oh, that is real.
That was
sad.
that really that part really got me.
Gulpin the poison sack with kissy lips thinks hugs mean goodbye forever, dipshit.
Yeah.
Aw. Oh, man.
All right, yeah.
That's really sad.
a little heartbreaking.
I did. All right. I remember hearing that story, but I think I was just kind of tuned out during the whole plateau sequence. I should have been more tuned in. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. But I don't want to just pass by the Pokepuffs without some discussion.
Yeah, so from what I can tell, and I think I can make this actually, Pokepuffs are basically like donut holes You may know them as munchkins, but they are they're very bright colors, and they appear to be flavored based on what color you're looking at.
Did they show how they cooked them? Because they showed them making the dough and rolling the dough into dough balls.
Yeah.
But then suddenly they were cooked and decorated.
Yes.
So they could have been fried. You're right.
Yeah.
Like a donut hole would be fried.
Yeah.
It's just they could do that in the woods. Have what's his name in his gadget arm?
Oh, Clement.
Clement, yeah.
The Vault Baby.
Yes.
And, maybe they are more like a puff pastry.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at them, I was like, oh, I'm hungry for donut holes right now.
So we got one more. So we got one more thing to add to the Pokemon feast. There's spicy pizza pancakes, party cakes.
It's been a little while.
No chew stew.
Do you say
Milk
spicy pizza pancakes? I'm sorry. That sounds so good.
It's good. They're good. And then finally, now we have Pokepups. I think there's some more, but
Yeah, we're definitely missing some, but
anyway, fuck it.
We'd have to listen to old episodes, and nobody wants to do that.
No one wants to do that. So, Volcanion starts talking shit on Ash. Pikachu starts defending him, very vociferously. Then a black cloud starts rolling in, and it's like, ooh, bad guy time.
And it is horrifying because, again, Mega Gengar is terrifying. It's just dead-eyed, rolling into this peaceful plateau, just moaning black smoke.
Right.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that sucked me right back in, where I was like, oh, holy shit.
What's the one? There's one that when they mega evolve it, it looks just like a skull with spikes coming off it. It looks like those people that dress up for Oakland Raiders games that you see in the crowd.
Yeah, that's the Oakland Raider.
It's Mega Glalie is who you're talking about.
Okay. Glad I cleared that up.
So, inside the big cloud is a giant machine that starts trapping Pokemon. The smoke clears. It's the rogue. It's the bad guys.
Yeah, here we are at the two-thirds mark in the movie, and they've got brand new gadgets to trap Pokemon.
Well, this is why the ending of this movie is great, because they just start throwing stuff at you that has not been established at all. And then
also, this thing exists.
Yes.
The Pokemon trap is also a torture device, so they use it to, like, convince Maggie to come, like, leave her buddies and come with them.
No, he gets Mega Gengar to do mean look, and then it just freezes everybody, and then he just does what he wants with them. It's upsetting.
Yeah, it comes down to that classic quandary of, like, if you turn yourself over, you are dooming the world, but if you don't, your friends will die. And
right in front of you.
And Maggie does make the right choice. She's like, all right, well, it sucks that my friends are going to die, but if I go with them, the world is over, whatever. What is their end goal anyway? They don't have...
Yeah.
We're assuming it's the world ends.
Right, we don't really know. He just kind of wanted to shoot the plateau or that tree with a big laser, but what? What?
Who knows? Well, also, I've never before seen this gambit break as quickly as it does, because it's like, if you turn yourself over to us, we won't hurt your friends. And Maggie's like, okay, I'm coming, and walks up the thing into the ship, and immediately Jafar rips her heart out in front of everybody.
Yeah. Her soul heart.
Reaches into her chest and rips the heart out of it, her soul heart,
And
then chucks her dead husk of a body overboard.
It's so fucked up.
And then blows up the thing anyway.
Yeah.
Blows up all the Pokemon anyway. And so they are all dead, and the bad guys won, and the movie ends.
It's like the end of Infinity War.
But... yeah, we find out that some Pokemon flew in the last second and used Dig and Safeguard to protect our heroes.
Yeah, to protect Volcanion and Ash and all of them.
And Volcanion picks up Magierna's husk, and he's sad, and they're like...
He's like, oh, you
and it's like really
fuckers.
sad music, but then all of a sudden it's like really triumphant music, and they're like, we're gonna get these sons of fucking bitches. That's what he says.
That's a Volcanion.
And then Ash is like, yeah, we are. It's like, you didn't need to add that, kid. You're undercutting what I'm doing. I sure did. All right. Okay, let's go.
Don't tell me what to do. All right, let's get him, best friend.
And then, the bad guy then, I could be skipping something here, but basically he's just like, okay, so here's the thing. So as
they go into the history, yeah.
And this is basically exactly how he explains it. He's like, okay, so, Ass Off Kingdom, right. So there's a big wall around it. Yeah, all right. So part of it is actually a flying fortress, and we need this soul heart in order to power it up. And it's got some cool weapons and stuff on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop this into a gyrosphere, and we're going to fly around.
And at the princess is describing the same thing, and everyone's going like, they can't get the flying fortress wall.
Who built this flying fortress? What's the point of it? It's not.
It's Nicola Jesus Moses.
Yeah, there was a war.
I know that he built it.
There was a war.
Oh, and also during this flashback, Volcanion describes the reason that he liked Magirna is because she didn't die when he exploded.
He's the only person I haven't accidentally killed. I love her.
But while all this is being explained, Team Rocket and Fauntleroy at the same time are like, oh no, we fucked up. And
Right.
Team Rocket, to their credit, are like, we can't let him get away with this. And they leap at him, and they get thrown off the ship to their deaths.
Yeah, they use Alakazam or Gengar blasts them off the side. Yeah, a lot of people get thrown from airships.
But they only get rid of Jesse and James.
Meowth.
He keeps Meowth.
I could swear he threw all three of them off, but then
Meowth?
later Meowth is on the ship. Yeah.
So the three of them they use a psychic attack to pick them up and gently lower them to the ground. Gently lower them 500 feet to the ground. And as they're slowly ejecting Jesse and James and Meowth through the door, Jesse and James get out the door closes behind them, and Meowth is just still there.
Really?
And then the next time we see him, he's just tied to a rail.
He's tied to a rail,
sobbing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Meowth's tears are the craziest fucking shit.
It is, I like Meowth.
Yep. That's right.
And I feel like there's a certain point in any relationship where you see that person ugly cry, really just breaking down, crying, and it changes your perspective of them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sound insensitive, but it's that's nobody's best moment. No matter how much you respect a person, when they're broken down in tears and unable to control themselves, it's oh, now I've seen that side of you. And that's what happens here. I really was I just see Meowth differently. And I don't feel like we're closer because we weren't on that level yet. It's like seeing, it's almost like seeing your friend at work break down in tears.
Right, not like your best friend. Just somebody you're not super close to who has a funny voice.
Yeah. But it's also Meowth, care, it comes from a deep care for someone Meowth doesn't really know. It's just that he knows that a beautiful being has been silenced from the world, and
beautiful being's soul is crying out.
Yeah. So to bring everybody in on this, basically the soul heart of Maggie is powering the flying fortress, but what they didn't realize is that it doesn't entirely kill Maggie. A part of Maggie is left in the soul heart and is unable to control anything, but is able to psychically contact other Pokemon, in this case Meowth, because he's tied to the railing, and just say, please help me, it hurts so much,
sad.
I'm dying,
Please,
for the love of God, this is an eternal pain. And so Meowth breaks down.
So
that's why I wrote Meowth equals good in my notes,
I can hear the soul heart. It's suffering.
The voice isn't there anymore after that one. Oh, no.
She's suffering in there. I'm so sad about it.
I've never felt this sad before. Like he's snotting and stuff. It's
Oh my
wild.
god!
He's also,
it's like
it's not because
there's
Jesse and
giant-
James are possibly dead. It's that it's
No.
this thing he doesn't really know is like in pain. It's kind of wild. Jesse
It's
and
like-
James just got thrown
like-
overboard.
he's crying. Well, he's seen that happen 100 times.
Yeah, that's
now.
true.
That's true.
He's crying giant, like fist-sized tears, and it closes in on the tears dropping on his own feet. It's really bizarre.
Healing his own feet.
It's magic.
So okay. Anyway, we're this is all happening kind of like we just jumped around a little bit because this is a thing that's being cut to here and there during the coolest fucking action scene in any Pokemon movie ever. This is This is the most fun I ever had in a Pokemon movie. This like 5 minutes.
I'll be
It
honest,
was awesome.
I didn't pay full attention to this because it started out as just a big old bird fight.
Right.
It
is.
Well, this is the better bird fight than we've ever seen. So what happens is the gang are like, we're going to go get that fucking heart back. And as they're coming towards it, the fortress is about to fire a giant gun. And somehow Team Rocket is hanging off the ship. Do you guys know when that happened?
I didn't know. I saw them die.
Then the bad guys' cronies mega evolve all of their Pokemon. So now, and like it again clearly hurts them, and they're all just like and turn into like these crazy. It's a werewolf transformation. That's what it is. It's like a weird werewolf transformation. They're like and they're powered up. And then Pikachu
is
and the
leading
Air
this
Force.
flying attack battalion of birds, and all of them and Pikachu so it's Talonflame with Pikachu on his back, zipping around and blasting lightning and fire at shit as they go past,
And
and
it's like a
things are just
tracking
dropping from the
shot.
sky.
They follow it like around, and they're doing like maneuvers as like everything's just like flying at them, trying to bite them and shoot them with
It's
beams. It's
It's
fucking
like the
awesome.
fucking first scene from the first Avengers. It's
Yeah.
just cutting around to people doing the coolest shit. So Noivern drops Greninja off just in the castle, and it just starts running around throwing water knives at dudes. It's just like zipping around throwing knives,
cool.
and it's fucking so cool.
Yeah.
And then as these guys are running around doing like the first salvo, then suddenly Talonflame drops Pikachu in the middle, and he's just like, "Achoo!" And there's this giant electric explosion, and it's like, oh fuck, Pikachu's like the big gun here.
Yeah, Pikachu. It's like it's like Dragon Ball Z, but it does they animate it so it's like the camera like swings around and in on Pikachu, and then it's like a low angle like 360 shot of just like energy just emanating
It's like-
down and around Pikachu.
It's like Thor has entered the battle.
It's-
and then
yes.
immediately afterward, the Hulk enters the battle because they drop Volcanion in, and he just starts popping dudes off.
He rips a Pokemon in half and then sucks the fluids out of its legs using half of his ring back.
So at this moment, after Volcanion gets in and explodes and knocks all these dudes back, then the gang arrives on the princess's floating airship, and they just the doors open and they just flood out, and it's Pokemon attacking shit, and it's like dudes running out and like yelling, and then Ash, seemingly for no reason, but it's kind of the first time I was ever like, oh, Ash is kind of a badass. He leaps from the top of the ship into the middle of the fight, and I'm like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, then the confusing stuff starts happening, and I will help delineate it for you guys. First thing.
You understand what happened here.
First thing, Ash jumps off the ship and he goes to Greninja and he says, "It's time to power up!"
Right.
And they both float in the air and they seem to like merge into one being. Now, I don't know why or how that happens, but I know that's something from the TV show called Ash Greninja. This is a special Greninja that is like soul bonded with Ash
What?
that turns into an Ash-shaped Greninja.
How did they get that name?
Okay, next we see Squishy, who we've seen the whole movie and we have no idea like what his deal is.
He's just hanging out in a backpack.
he drops on the floor or something, and then you see a bunch of green beams of light
from far away, from a forest, far away from them, and then the beams flood onto him, and then he turns into a big dog that's just like
a big black and green dog wearing a scarf.
Yeah. And he's just fucking dudes up. I was like, whoa, Squishy. Squishy, what happened? Squishy, take off your glasses.
This is the moment where this is the moment where if you've watched the full MCU and the battle happens, you're like, oh my god! Like, oh, Black Panther's using his energy absorption thing. And like, oh my god, Captain... Like, this is the moment where if you've watched the TV show, which I haven't... But I know what this stuff is.
But you've read all the Wikipedia summaries.
You would be like, holy shit! Oh my god! Because Greninja is a big part of the TV show. And then Squishy... Okay.
Why do you guys keep saying Squishy? Did they call him Squishy?
Yes.
Or did we just establish that and I missed it?
They call him Squishy.
They call him Squishy.
Yeah, okay. But that's not the name of the Pokemon.
No.
It's not a Pokemon called Squishy.
No.
They named a Pokemon something other than its Pokemon name.
So,
yes.
In the beginning of Pokemon Sun and Moon, you find a single Zygarde cell. And they're like, I don't know what this is. I should find more of them. And you find a bunch more, and they look exactly like Squishy. And eventually, you meet some scientists who are like, these are all the scattered cells of legendary Pokemon Zygarde. And if you get enough of them, you can turn him into one of his forms. His first form is a dog, but then his final form is that weird god thing we saw towards the end.
Okay.
Like, he's a dog, then he's a snake, which they skipped. And then his mega, form is this.
It's like a Dracula dog.
No, this is post-dog. This is when he turns into, a big dragon man.
Yeah, but doesn't he have, a dog's head? Maybe it is a dragon's head, and I was watching it on my phone, so it was very small. I just thought it looked like if you take the old 60s Batman logo, where it's, the Batman symbol, but with Batman's actual head at the top.
Yeah.
If you took that, but you put a dog's head on it, that's what I saw.
So if you had played the game so you know who Zygarde is, and then you'd been watching the TV show so you know what the Zygarde cell is, but none of the characters do, if you're a kid watching this movie, you'd be like, oh god, fucking Zygarde!
So this is Captain America wielding Mjolnir
Yes.
level, holy shit, they're actually doing it.
They're doing it. Oh, that was a good day when that happened.
So then Ash the Princess, Mega Shiny Gardevoir, Greninja, and so while Zygarde's fucking everybody up, that group of people I just explained break into the fortress and see Raleigh sitting there with his head hung down. Fauntleroy, sorry. Yeah. Sitting there with his head hung down I'm so sad.
Yeah.
And the steampunk wizard catches them in another torture trap.
Which is awesome, where they're entrapped in these metal belts that zap them, and then he's just if you try and move, they're going to cause you quite amount of pain. And then Volcanion's just yeah, I don't think that's fucking true at all. I'm going to get out of this. Oh, Jesus Christ. He immediately is nah, that's a fucking bluff, and then immediately gets dunked on.
He's oh, motherfucker.
It's great.
And then Jafar, the steampunk wizard named Alva, says, we're going to blow up the secret Pokemon utopia for no reason.
Yeah, they're just mad at this point.
And then Magirna makes it miss. But then
this isn't fully explained, right? But they aim their giant laser at Naval Plateau and miss it, and they're just we missed, and then Meowth is I can still hear Magirna.
And then he's oh, Magirna's still in there? Gengar, mean look! And then Gengar looks mean at Magirna, and then that's when Meowth is I can't hear Magirna anymore! So then they shoot the island again, and it looks like it's over. There's no way to stop. Everybody's all the bad guys won, and the movie ends.
But a bunch of Pokemon are all teamed up and they're all shouting energy beams at the laser. And this is my favorite detail that happened in the movie. There's a shot where there's like a bunch of Pokemon all just like just shooting lasers. And one of them, it was the hurt one from earlier, just like pauses and it's like then another Pokemon stops shooting and shouts at it a couple times, and then it's just like, okay, and then it shoots the lasers together.
So yeah, they're all the Pokemon are shooting this thing, and they're about to lose until Zygarde jumps down, calls a bunch more cells, and then becomes a big god, and then it's like, I got this, and then shoots the beam away.
It's fucking awesome, and the beam like does that thing where it like pushes back, and then it just and sends a big shockwave everywhere. It's great.
If I may. Deus ex Zygarde.
Yes.
Yes. Then Volcanion pulls an Ash, right? And he's, because Alva's like, oh, those pathetic Pokemon ruined my beam. I'll destroy them. And Volcanion, who has already learned he can't break these bonds around him, goes, We are not pathetic.
He does it. He beats the
Yeah.
chains.
It's like when 11 in Stranger Things learns a word and then uses it wrong later.
Oh, yeah.
like he doesn't know what pathetic means. He just wanted to yell something.
It is very Ash though. Like,
Yeah.
his "You'll never call me pathetic."
So Pikachu then kicks the living shit out of Mega Gengar.
Yeah.
And then throws the steampunk wizard's staff to Ash, who grabs it and shoves it into a machine and it smashes. And it's like, again, Ash is being cool for once.
Yeah, because he catches it like midair too,
Yeah.
and then while still in air, turns it around so he can stab it into the thing he's about to land on.
And it's Ash is like, for the first time in his fucking life, he's really cool. It's short-lived, but
Yeah. He's got a good role model in this.
And Team Rocket even show up to save Meowth. Jafar tries to fly away on a jetpack, and they shoot it, and he plummets to his
Yo,
death.
he dies.
Greninja
He absolutely
throws a fucking star at him, and then he just doesn't work, and he just falls to his death.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
It's a really good death because he's running like out the little escape hatch of the ship, and he's like, "Ha ha ha ha! Ha, oh no!
You'll never catch
All
me
right.
shit."
So all the coolest shit that I've ever seen in a Pokemon movie just happened, and then I was like, oh, that was so cool. And then I looked at the thing, and it's like, oh, 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great. I did also like though that when the staff breaks, all the Mega evolutions go away, and everybody kind of digivolves, and then Mega Gengar changes and
Andrew.
then looks at him. What?
No, it's okay. We'll move on. But
look, on
just
this
watch it,
podcast, we
buddy.
just say devolve.
Oh, well, I mean, they've turned into the Mega form, and that was just from that other thing. So I'm sorry. Jeez.
Just watch it with the digis. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. What would you call your fingers, by the way?
Pokets.
Fingers.
Anyway, when Gengar de-evolves back into Gengar, it just looks at him, it looks at Jafar, and it's just kind of like, fuck off, and then just sinks through the floor and just goes away. Which was kind of
Jafar
great.
is like, do something, and Gengar's like, what? And just backs out of the room.
Gengar.
And then you would think it's over.
Yeah.
Except now they can't control the flying fortress, and somehow it's on a direct path to destroy
Now,
the
guys,
kingdom of Ass-Off.
Do you want to go beat by beat through this, or do you want me to explain the next 15 minutes of the movie in 12 seconds?
I would like that, but there is one line that I
Okay.
really want to get to.
Is it? Okay, I'll get to there. All right, I'll speed through till there. Okay, so they come up with some plan that doesn't make sense about Volcanion blowing and making a big explosion.
Yes.
And Fauntleroy and everyone makes up, and they're like, we're going to rush off the thing. and they have to go find Volcanion some water. So they do, then they all go to escape, but then Volcanion runs back in to sacrifice himself.
Mm-hmm.
They put Volcanion in position, he sends everybody off, and then right before they leave, he says, well, I'm going out with a bang, which is good line number 1, immediately followed by good line number 2, time to blast!
Blast.
And then he explodes.
He loves blasting. Look, he dies doing what he loves, blasting. Anyway, he blows up the whole ship with everybody inside. They take Magierna, who doesn't work anymore, back to the secret plateau. It's like dead inside or something.
Mm-hmm.
And no, not the Pokemon
Yeah,
dead
not
inside.
the Pokemon dead inside.
But it's actually dead
this
in
is so
its soul.
Fucking sad. They put its soul heart back in,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's not brain dead, it's just emotionless. This is another really sad moment where like it comes back to life, and it's just like the Pokemon that's loved it all its life is like, oh, thank God you're back, and it's just like, hi, I'm Magierna.
Okay, I have the third thing to call in about. Number 1 is a rat, just a beard, and our beard's hair and his hair fur and a bear. Yeah, all your thoughts about that. Number
And
2.
staffs. Well, we were also going to ask about staffs and people wielding staffs.
Yeah, Staffs is kind of tied.
What was
into
number
the beard
3?
thing, though.
Power. Just what do you think about power?
Oh, his power.
Oh
Who
yeah,
has power?
should one man have all this power?
Does
Number
it corrupt
4.
absolutely?
I've got a 4th thing. Number 4. Pat said he hated this movie. Does Pat actually love this movie? Because I think Pat loved this fucking movie. Like, he just keeps talking about how emotionally affected he was.
Yeah.
And how awesome everything was. He's like, it's stupid, though.
It's you know what bugged me is I was on the fence until the bird fight happened. And then it's a good bird fight, but it's still a screaming bird fight.
Okay, so make sure you call about that. It's 607-323-7168. Okay, as they're like, oh, Magierna will never be itself again, there's a bunch of steam, and of course, Volcanion comes trudging up. It brings Magierna back to life. Then he dies again, but then she makes it sneeze, and then everyone's okay. The end.
Yeah.
There's no explanation. It's just everyone's fine now.
There's
Cool.
also no sacrifice. That's
True.
the other thing that really bugs me about this is, and I guess this has happened in past Pokemon movies too, but Volcanion is like, okay, well, what I have to do in order to save everybody is die. And does that, and then is lost. And like, you really can, even as a children's movie, you can end the movie right there, and everybody will be like, oh, that's, it's sad, but it's a noble cause, and Maggie is still alive, which was like the object of his affection anyway, so
Even
he
do
would
like
be
a
satisfied with it.
Even do like a dumb Pokemon thing and have like his ghost fly out of the
Yeah,
water
yeah, yeah.
into Magierna, and that's what brings her back to life.
I thought
that
that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
But instead, he blows up an entire sky fortress and
And it
just like wanders out of the dust.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's everybody crying
It's like,
about?
Have you guys ever had a dog that ran into like traffic and was fine? Did you guys ever have this experience? Like got hit by a like I've had this happen to me
No.
as a kid,
Yeah, no,
where my
I haven't.
dog ran out the front door. I ran after it. It got hit by a car. I like was ready to fully break down, and it just comes trudging back up the like with a slight limp. It just comes trudging back. It's like, hey, well, that was weird, right?
Matt, is that a story you assume everyone has?
Does nobody else have? I assume that if my dog miraculously walked away from a car accident, okay, that it's just something dogs can do.
All right, 5th thing to call in about. Have you ever watched a dog walk away from being hit by a car?
And being
Only
like,
call if you're comfortable talking about
I'd be
the
like
experience.
100%
Yeah.
fine. Just like you take it to the vet and they're like, well, we don't see anything.
I never even had a dog, Matt. Come on.
All right. Well, number 6, do you have a dog? 607-323-7168.
Fucking call us about anything.
Answer the previous question first, though. And
Okay,
then
yeah.
answer. if
Do,
you-
do not dare call this number and only answer a few of these questions.
You have to answer all of them in the order.
Again, exactly. We want everybody who ever listened to the show to call and answer all these questions. Okay. So, Now Volcanion likes people. He names them all honorary Pokemon, and not one of them is like, wait, what did you fucking call me? And then Team Rocket are watching from afar because they were heroes, but they don't share in any of the glory. And the movie ends, and it was really good, and it's fucking good, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Even the ending song sucked like all of them, but it wasn't as bad as they usually are.
I had that stuck in my head for the first 2 hours of the podcast, but now I can't remember the song. Somehow having a soul heart.
So, by about 45 minutes, this is the longest podcast we've ever done. But, Andrew, I have really bad news for you. And I have bad and good news for you, okay? Number one, there's 3 segments left. Here's the good news. The first one's really short, and you're allowed to bail on either of the second 2 if you want to.
I mean, we'll see.
We've set a precedent.
It's all good.
Number one.
Bad news is this podcast only gets longer.
Number one.
I was like,
segment
this
one.
should be like 90 minutes long. This will be good. Oh, okay.
Segment 1. Final thoughts. Andrew, you first.
You know what? I'm going to cede my final thoughts to an IMDb review that I saw. Is that
This is a... Yes.
Is this unheard
incredible.
of?
Yeah, please.
Yes. No one has ever done this.
All right. I'm just going to read it exactly as it is. 4 out of 10. Meh. It was a basic ass Pokemon movie, but whatever. Lol.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Pat.
My thoughts. I would have liked this movie a lot more, except for just a couple of weird details that I thought were really bad.
Yes.
This one, they do put a little more thought and care into it, and I think that through hearing the 2 of you describe it, it's probably moved up in my ranks a bit.
Okay.
But I'm also going to cheat during the ranking segment today. I decided.
For my money, I think this is one of the... I mean, they're all... Given the fact that they're all written very poorly, this is one of the best, most well-written Pokemon movies we've seen. Mm. And it is certainly the best directed Pokemon movie we've seen. The sad moments are sad. The happy moments are fucking delightful. Mm-hmm. And the climax, that battle, again, was legitimately thrilling. I stopped writing jokes in my notes and started just writing and then a dude shoots fire, and then a dude blows up, and it was just I was legitimately excited. Okay, Next segment, we've got 2 voicemails this week. One of them is a couple days old, and one of them is 2 months old.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so I'm going to play the first voicemail.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Real quick, we should make one correction publicly about the voicemails. Is last time we did voicemails, we listened to one from a guy that we thought was named Poor Webster. His name is Porter Webster. Porter, we're very sorry.
But, I think to us from now on, his name is Poor Webster.
Yeah, as long as that's
if you're not okay with that, let us know.
Give us a call.
Give us a call at 6. Oh, and anybody who's calling, that is number 7. So number 1, beards. Number 2, staffs. Number 3,
power.
Should one man have all that power? Number 4, did Pat like this movie? Number 5, have you seen a dog get hit by a car? Number 6, do you have a dog? Number 7, does Porter Webster consent to being called Poor Webster? Everybody gets to weigh in on this.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let's play a voicemail.
Hi, this is Alvaro, a.k.a. No Faith, responding to a conversation a question, I guess, that Jeff Stormer brought up, former guest Jeff Stormer. He said that it's not possible that the Pikachu world is happening in a Pokeball because Pikachu never ends up in a Pokeball, never goes into a Pokeball, doesn't know what a Pokeball is like. So, yes, but if you remember and if you listen to the episode, or, Matt, if you could do me a favor and play the part of the episode that I was on where I say, or when they're healing at Nurse Joy's station, or something of that nature. And that's then what I guess is happening. Jeff Stormer, if you have an answer for that one, I'd love to hear it. Do you? Do you? Or are you just agreeing with me that that's what's going on? This is a weird hallucination fever dream that happens when the Pokemon are at the Nurse Joy Pokemon healing station. Yeah. Anyway. Matt, as Mewtwo, as for my previous call, as Mewtwo, do you think you'd be evil or you would be forced for good? Like you'd be a Mewtwo that was good, or do you think that your just Mewtwo nature would cause you to be evil? Pat, as a Snorlax, do you think that you dream about Pokemon stuff? Like, for example, as if you were healing at Nurse Joy's station, like that kind of dream? Or do you think you just, like, dream specific stuff about Snorlaxes? And then if you are dreaming stuff that is specific to Snorlaxes, and Snorlaxes love sleeping, would you be dreaming that you are sleeping? All right, those are my questions. Thank you. Love the show. Go Pokemon. All right, bye.
Oh my god.
We gotta set a time limit for how long people can leave voicemails. So we do. Let's start with this. We do encourage any of our previous guests to call in and leave a voicemail correcting any other of our previous guests.
Yeah, if any of our previous guests want to have a telephone conversation with each other over our voicemail line, then I guess we have to deal with that.
Yeah, you're basically creating your own podcast one short burst at a time through our voicemail system.
The original question was, if I was a Pokemon, what Pokemon would I be? And I said I would be Mewtwo because he's just a guy. And I think that's like, when he asked me if I'd be good Mewtwo or evil Mewtwo, I would just be like, I'd just do all the stuff I do, but I'd have psychic powers, right? Like I'd date, I'd like go out drinking, like I'd play video games. Like I'd be a very neutral Mewtwo. And I guess as a human being, I think I am more a force for good than a force for bad. So I guess I'd be like benign Mewtwo.
Yeah, it'd be like gray area Mewtwo.
Yeah, just like a dude.
This is where that power conversation comes in.
I'd just be like a dude who is also a Mewtwo. All right, Pat, you were asked a unfathomably complex question.
Well, I'm going to go ahead with any answer that doesn't make me answer a follow-up question. No, honestly, I think Snorlax's dream about eating. I think it's more about food than anything.
Okay. All right. Andrew, you want to weigh in on any of this?
Which Pokemon I would be, and what Snorlax is dreaming about?
Yeah, sure.
Snorlax dreaming about food. I think that checks out. Which Pokemon would I be? That is like a tough one, because I want to say Dragonite, going back to earlier conversation from 4 hours ago, because again, I feel like same body type, and they can fly, which is pretty cool. But again, going back to that same conversation, I don't know, maybe I would want to be a licking tongue.
I knew it.
And lastly, Andrew, do you have any personal conversation topics you want to engage in with Jeff Stormer or Alvaro?
Hey guys, what's up? Do you guys want to hang out sometime? Maybe we can, I don't know, we can hang out. We can go on a hike. It's fall.
All right.
Alvaro, Jeff, gauntlet thrown.
Let's listen to our next voicemail that is 1/5 the length of the one we just heard.
Is this one, this is the recent one we're about to
Yeah,
do?
this is the one we just got. All right, here we go.
Hey, this is David calling from Minnesota about the Very Worst podcast. Just wanted to tell you guys it's really funny to listen to, and I can't believe that I actually listen to something or somebody talk about something as silly as a Pokemon movie for over 2 hours and how much I thoroughly enjoy it. and how it kind of went from okay to really, really good once you hit episode 9 or 10. So thank you for putting up that podcast. Have a good day. Bye.
Oh my God.
David, I love how you listened to roughly 18 hours of podcast before you decided it was good.
That's so... So first of all, I feel like the over 2 hours thing is a bit of a jab, but a fair one.
Yeah, this particular episode is going to be 3 hours-ish.
Yeah, hopefully we can parse that down.
Well, leave in the whole segment where we left to go have our break.
What episode was it that Ashley left?
Ashley's final episode. So we got better around episode 9 or 10. Ashley's final episode was episode 18.
Okay. And that's with all the 0.5s and stuff.
Yeah.
So it is not exclusively I like the podcast after you got rid of Ashley.
No, it's not exclusively that, but it's at least partially that.
Yeah.
We love you, Ashley. You don't listen, so there's no point in saying this, but we love you. Andrew, do you think our podcast is good?
I mean, after this one, yeah. No, it's great.
Okay. Again, call us with. You can rewind for like 5 seconds, and we just said it, or 5 minutes, and we just said it. But with all the topics we want you to talk about, but we want every phone call next episode. Please, if you listen, definitely call us.
Yes.
It might not be. We actually might be recording in like 2 days, so we might not play them for. It might be 2 episodes before we play them, but we want as many voicemails as humanly possible.
Yeah, please flood us with calls and either answer all 7 questions posed to you during this episode or talk about something else entirely. Don't half-ass it if you're answering these questions.
Middle
answer
ground.
all 7 questions.
Right. Okay, 607-323-7168. That is 607-323-7168. And not one of you is exempt from calling. Anybody who's listening to this who's like, well, yeah, but they don't want me to call. They're talking to like their real fans, or they're talking to people who haven't been on the podcast, or they're talking to only people who have. No, all of you. Okay.
We expect exactly 27 phone calls.
Okay, Andrew.
Yes.
And I seriously have to warn you, man. The next segment, me and Pat and you, but you only have a sample size of 2. Me and Pat will list every Pokemon movie we've ever seen and rank them in order. So you are absolutely allowed to hang up.
Look, okay, so here's where I'm at. I told you guys right when we broke, I was like, yeah, I just kind of want to get a little bit of outside time while the sun's up. The sun's gone. This is what you guys are about to do is so fascinating to me. I'm just gonna hang out and listen probably.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll start with you, Andrew.
Hang on, let's get plugs out of the way so our listeners can tune out if they want to and still hear Andrew's plugs.
All right, Andrew. What plugs you got?
Oh fuck! What plugs do I have? I think Wednesdays. I think I'm saying I think because I don't fucking know. I do improv at Philly Improv Theater. I think we're moving to Wednesdays at a time for October, and then moving to a different time and date in November.
Okay.
Nice. What's the team name?
Overlook.
Overlook.
Yeah. So I got
Overlook
that.
Improv.
Overlook. Oh, that's also handy advice. There we go.
That took a second. I get it.
Yeah. Then I have my other podcast, Sean and Andrew talk about movies and sometimes other stuff, where we just talk about a whole bunch of movies and review them and kind of go over stuff beat by beat. We have
It's exactly like this, only with like actual good movies.
Exactly. Like our Endgame episode was like 3.5 hours long.
Okay, so this.
Yeah, it was mostly just
we
like,
don't have to feel
wasn't this fucking great? It's like, yeah, it was fucking great. Then this happened and it was great. It's like, yeah. But we have a good one on Ad Astra that I need to upload. So anyway, that's what I got.
Awesome. Yeah, go check it out.
Cool.
I don't have any plugs. Pat, do you have a plug?
Yeah, I just finished up a run of shows last week, so that would have been nice. But as of now, no.
All right, let's get into the ranking segment where we rank every Pokemon movie we've ever watched. Okay, Andrew, why don't you start?
Okay, so I've seen 3 Pokemon movies in their entirety. I've seen Pokemon, the first movie, which is just a cocky title. Then I've seen this one, Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. And I've also seen this past summer's Detective Pikachu.
Okay. And then why don't you include the novelization of Pokemon the movie 2000 in there too?
No, I should, because it had a bunch of pages in the middle that were just stills from the movie, and they told you about the scene. So it feels like I saw it. Honestly, it's probably the book. And here's why. It's because like it's almost like 2 decades later and I'm still just like, man, but I wonder if the movie's any good. So that book has clearly left an impression on me.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go Pokemon 2000, the junior novelization. And then I feel like it's this. I think it's Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel. And then it's probably Detective Pikachu, and then the Pokemon, the first movie.
Damn, that's it's not. I'm not judging your rankings here, but that's a bit of an indictment on Detective Pikachu, right?
I didn't really like it at all. I saw it, and I saw it in like an afternoon where I had a day off, and there was no one else in the theater, which was a weird vibe. And I was pretty quickly just like, there was that movie was a lot of missed opportunities where it's like it's a movie where it feels like hologram technology is more crucial to the plot than Pokemon.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
and the ending
first...
is wild. The ending of that movie is fucking crazy town.
Yes, it's yeah. I don't even know how to.
You can't describe it. It's great. It's Bill Nye just yelling a bunch of fucking nonsense flying around this Mewtwo.
You know what's fun is on our last episode, or maybe a very recent episode, the movie was spoiled, and I was told to cover my ears, and I took my headphones off so I couldn't hear the actual spoiler for Detective Pikachu.
And then
I just listened to the episode.
You didn't skip that part?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Pat, do you want to rank or me?
I'll go. I told you I'm going to cheat
Right.
today. So I have 4 categories of movies that I think they all fit into. I think it's best, then all the movies with a Psyduck appearance, then all the movies without a Psyduck appearance, and then worst.
Okay.
So I would say Pokemon Forever, Celebi's Nasty Nest, followed by every movie that has a Psyduck appearance. You can go back and check the tapes. That does include this one, so tied for second place. Good work. Followed by every movie that does not include a Psyduck appearance. Again, you can go back, check the tapes. We play a sound effect when it happens. Followed by Pokemon the movie 2000. That movie's fucking terrible.
Okay. Well, I almost never cheat at this, so I will continue that streak and go. Number 4, Pokemon Forever, Celebi's Nasty Nest. That's number 1. Sorry, I shouldn't have said number. That was confusing. Okay,
number 4, number 1.
Number 1. Number 1, Celebi's
four,
Nasty Nest.
Number 4, number 1.
Number 2, Jirachi Wishmaker. Number 3, this one. Wow. Number 4, Destiny Deoxys because of the hot dog robot. Number 5.
Go on.
It is. But this started the discussion of are robots Pokemon or not? Because there was a robot whose only purpose in life was to serve hot dogs in that movie. Number 5. Pokemon 3, the movie Spell of the Unknown, otherwise known in this podcast as Enya.
Yeah, Enya.
It's
a good one.
Number 6, The Rise of Darkrai. was good, right? Wasn't The Rise of Darkrai good? Yeah, I think it was. Number 7, Hoopa. Right? I liked Hoopa.
Oh, yeah.
Number...
In the Clash of Ages.
Yeah. Number 8.
Wait, you hated Hoopa.
I don't remember.
I loved Hoopa, and everybody told me I was stupid.
Well, I'm already like halfway through my list anyway, so like if I liked it, that's not saying much. Like I'm not really like giving it much. Okay, number 8, Pokemon Heroes Latios and Latios. Number 9, Lucario and the Mr. Mew. Number 10, Giratina. Number 11, Arceus, and number 13, Zoroark. I think they kind of can go in that order, right? Did I just skip?
Yeah, I'm not sure you're doing numbers right now.
Because I'm also looking at a list, and I keep sometimes just saying the number next to the movie. So I think I'm on like 12 or something. Then let's say Pokemon Black and White. Then Genesect was so bad. So then let's say Pokemon the first movie, then let's say the 2 TV movies just back to back. Why not? Fucking Mewtwo Returns and then Mastermind and the Mirage Pokemon in that order. Then let's go Pokemon Ranger and the Temple of the Shi, which was incredibly boring. Then let's go Kyurem, then Genesect, then Pokemon 2000, and then the worst one ever, Deancey and the Cocoon of Destruction.
Can you go over that one more time?
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. Okay, that's the fucking podcast. Andrew, thanks so much for doing this with us for 3 literal hours.
Hell yeah. Have me on again, Matt, so we can have our His Dark Materials conversation on mic. I think it would be great content.
Yeah, we'll do a special episode where without Pat, me and you just talk about Pat just broke the microphone. He ripped it off the table.
Tearing apart our new studio.
I have a question for you. About future episodes. I know that they like remade Pokemon the first movie with like CGI like this year.
Yeah, that is going to be okay. So we have.
Jesus Christ.
I'm fixing it.
We have 4. This is worse than the time you fell off the chair.
Excuse me. A chair broke under me.
That's worse. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So, okay. Next is I Choose You, which is supposed to be the good one.
Oh.
I Choose You and Power of Us. Wait, no, I Choose You is like supposed to be fine. It's the reboot. It's like starting over.
Whoa.
So I heard. Then the next one is supposed to be the good one, the like artsy one, the like breaking out of the mold and like Studio Ghibli inspired one.
Oh shit.
Called The Power of Us. After that is Detective Pikachu. And then finally, and I don't know if there will be an English one, like English dub out yet, so we might just be watching it in subtitles. The final one is the one you're talking about, the remake. The Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution is the name of the movie.
Right.
And all it is, it's called Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution. All it is the first movie again.
Yeah, it's just over again, but with a different animation style.
And then, Andrew, do you know the conceit of this podcast?
That we're trying to find the worst one?
No. Okay.
Oh.
So here's what happens. Immediately after we watch Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, the next episode is Pokemon the first movie again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Pokemon the movie 2000 again.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think that's why I think maybe Pat's trying to distance himself from the podcast before we get to the rewatches.
Well, so I was trying to steer season 2 in a different direction, and at the time that was only one of a few ideas we had for season 2. But then one of our more adamant fans insisted.
Every week Pat pitches a new season 2. He's
That's
like,
true. I'm
Disney
still trying to
movies,
find new ones.
White Claw reviews.
Yeah, my latest one was spiked seltzer reviews. I think that would be a good season 2. But
That'd be a good season.
Okay.
2. Yeah, you could do Digimon.
Anyway.
Man. You could do the D word.
Fuck off.
Andrew,
All right,
okay,
we're
that's
hanging
it.
up.
That's the end of the podcast. Thank you, Andrew.
Hold on,
This
wait,
has been the very
Ever
worst.
do Digimon the movie, just have me on. I think it'd be great. It's pretty awesome. Digimon.
Wanna be the very best.